uptick from 609 up to 611. Now, is the volume supporting this? I like that you called it out because that's a pretty aggressive break. Meta image available today across. So something just coming in, AI app on Meta, Instagram stories in US, WhatsApp in some countries coming soon to Facebook. So Muse Spark dropping something, guys. Muse Spark coming in, and that's when we've seen that uptick. So Alan, thanks for pointing that out. Muse Spark image available today across Meta AI apps on Meta AI, Instagram stories in US, WhatsApp in some countries, something coming soon to Facebook. All right. So, I mean, it's nothing new. Image generation. Oh, there you go, Sharif. Now you can start to use a little bit more of that compute power that
remember OpenAI canceled their image generation because it was just like melting, or not their image generation, video generation, because it was like melting their GPUs.
And the token expense is just insane.
Well, I mean, because you're paying for it too, right?
An insane amount.
Yeah, they don't even give it for the free.
Yeah, so Alan, there you go. You got volume.
We gave him that one.
Yeah, we gave him one on back. Yeah, I know. We better get out of here.
Neil gave us one. We gave him one right back.
You shut it off?
Yeah, it's over.
It's over now? Yeah. Damn, man.
All right, guys. It has been real. See, Joey and I, same bat time, same bat channel. Let's send it over to the big boys. Peace.
Yeah, that's like... Welcome back, everybody. I got to admit, I'm feeling, I don't know, a dog in that fight, but man, are you kidding me? 3 goals in the last couple
3 goals in like the last 15 minutes or so.
Absolutely insane.
Bruh.
Yeah, the recent headline we just saw, Meta rolls out Muse image feature across AI services with Facebook launch coming soon. So what has been, I don't know, for the broader market has been a pretty sideways last couple of hour and a half, has Meta spiking to the high of the day. So we'll open off jumping right over to Adara as Meta up 2% still climbing.
Just to provide some more context on this here. So META, again, as mentioned a couple times now, rolling out its Muse image feature across its AI services. Facebook will soon be also having this launch, but apparently it's also going to be announcing its Muse video rollout, which will be coming, quote, soon for creators and also on Meta AI. They've also unveiled their Muse image. This is apparently the first AI image generation model developed by their superintelligence lab. So this is actually a nice breakthrough here for the superintelligence lab. And keep in mind, this comes after we had a pretty poorly received set of comments from this internal town hall from Mark Zuckerberg last week. In response to that, we had Scale AI co-founder and Meta Superintelligence Labs leader Alexander Wang teasing out new announcements. Looks like these are some of the new announcements that he indicated we might get. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Adara. But quickly, before we go on, we have to remind everybody about OGEN, of course, ticker OGEN on the NYSE American. The company has now activated its Phase 2A clinical trial in Australia with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Origenics spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution with clinical progress underway with additional CNS assets under evaluation. Go check them out. It's OGEN, ticker OGEN, as we always talk about some concussion protocols and whatnot around these places here. Yeah, look, I mean, you want to talk a little bit about Meta, if that's what we're going to talk about first here. Yeah, you know, we've seen this before. I mean, you know, tell me something we don't know, and that is that Meta spikes up on news and then just retraces all the way back in. So, you know, we got that story about compute last week and goes all the way to 630, comes all the way back in. We got that story about Meta putting out a subscription tier of some sort there. That ripped up to 630 that day, and that just came right back. I mean, you know, we traded it every day that something's been happening. So I think now it can go right back on the radar and we can look again here at Meta. But, you know, at the end of the day, I still need to see this thing break through 640, 650. We are going to get more information, obviously, as this gets released, but it doesn't seem like it's a big, huge deal for Meta. I mean, that was a good spike, don't get me wrong, but that's 608 up to 612. So, you know, you're just kind of where you were back at 10 a.m. So let's just continue to watch out Meta. We should have Brian on this afternoon, and when he comes on, we can sort of ask him what he thinks technically about the stock. But for me, as long as it's underneath the 640 and the 200 period moving average, I think Meta's a stay away for now, and we deal with it later. So that's what I'm going to do with Meta. But yeah, hey, you know, we traded it yesterday, breaking through 600 in the afternoon, right into here, and it kind of just went sideways the rest of the day. Wait for maybe a big imbalance to come through. But yeah, you know, there it goes, Meta. I feel like we need to get a little bit more information on exactly what this Muse Spark and all this sort of stuff is here with META. But
I think
yeah, Meta on our mind.
If the 3-day rule on one of these news stories on Meta results in at the end of the 3 days it's still going higher,
yeah,
then we can start feeling a heck of a lot better about it. You know what? Like that's you hate to say that about a company like Meta because you're so great for so long, but that's the world that they're in. So yes, you're breaking out the highs as we speak. But there is that overhang that you do have to worry about at least a little bit here. But no, it's a good move to the upside. What's weird about it, though, you'd think that maybe it's like, the futures are still going sideways here? Like that's not really helping any kind of a late breakout as we speak. Like we're still very much range bound. Like this last hour and change has been incredibly sideways after a good bounce off the lows. Like the market did a pretty good job regaining not everything. We're down over 2%, and to be able to claw so much back, I think is done pretty well. But it doesn't seem like Meta's really pushing us through. As I say that, IBIT, which I famously stopped out at the LOD there, that's coming right back into our entry off the top end of the range. So I'm not holding this to VWAP. I have a break-even stop on this. I want it to retake the high of the day, hopefully. SpaceX is at least off the 150, so that's doing pretty good. But I have eyeballs on something we were not looking at this morning. Still don't think we were. We talked about nuclear. Well, we talked about nuclear in the context of fission, not specifically names like SMR. I didn't, SMR fell off, had a flat bottom break that was pretty impressive. So that's what gets it on the radar. And now we're in this not weird uptrend, but we're in this uptrend right back to the first bounce spot in the morning. So that was about 9:25 to 9:30, right in here. The only grain before it just completely fell apart. And it's just sort of coasting into that level. So I'm looking for a reversion here in SMR, which, by the way, it's still a hat size, but it didn't actually break this flat bottom. Like today we tested it on the daily, like it got there and it's bounced. So for now, SMR once again has rebounded from the depths of hell to catch a bit of a bid. But I'm looking for a trend break off of this volume weighted average price here. Once it does that, that's almost like an all-day trend from the lows. Break that, play the VWAP. If it gets to 9:30, I'd probably just short the level instead, but SMR is going to be on the mind for me this afternoon.
Yeah, good look. I mean, I like some SMR as well. Just looking here, though, what we really like is what we put up for you guys early today, and that is Palantir right down there on the sticky note at 132 to 133. You guys that were here with us earlier on in the day, saw me talk all about this name and to the fact of where we even 20 minutes later got reloaded down there. So first 133, this is just, sort of in that first half hour melee where the stocks are going back and forth and up and down. And, we just, honestly, boom, there it is now. It's 650 now in the money. And we've just been piecing it out on the way up. Can you tell when I got back from the gym? Right about here. So there it goes all the way to the upside. I think we would have had some more outs around 136, but, really appreciating it going all the way back there up to the upside is Palantir. And, oh boy, we talked about trying to hold on to some SpaceX. We've been doing that as well, off of that 150. So SpaceX will be a decent stock today, but really holding fort for me. We make back everything we lost in Apple on Palantir, and just waiting to see what winds up happening now with PLTR back up to the upside, up 4.5% as, software names. IGV, we saw Microsoft going back upside as well. IGV trying to catch a bid over the last couple of days, and there it goes right there from 85 back to 95. And again, Palantir, a name in the IGV, as is Microsoft, and Microsoft trying to feel some kind of ways today as well, back to the upside, up 1.5% in a negative market. So yeah, that's all good. And then the only real hit I have today anyways is this one. It's just early, and it may be not really too early. We didn't really get involved until 9:35. It came back in and we didn't even get a chance to get out on Apple. So obviously we don't take a huge hit on it, but we still take a hit and battled it back there throughout the morning and now into the afternoon as we look for some more opportunities. But I think SpaceX will be fine. Just going to let this one sort of settle down a bit. It hasn't really had too much love around this 153. That's the highest it got, in this rebound. So we did have 270 at one point in the money, but then we just started taking it out, trying to break down through this 152 marker. So we have a couple outs here, 152s, that one's 152.25. So we try to do our best to hold this thing, but it is looking like SpaceX may want to test back into this low right now. Yeah, that was too bad about Egypt there. They were up 2-0. Now Sharif and Joe I don't see anymore, but yeah, that's too bad. That's what happens. And Belgium had a lucky call against Senegal as well, where they were down 2-0 and came back. And now Belgium, took care of the United States. So we'll see what happens with Argentina playing the winner now of Colombia, Switzerland. Last game in Vancouver, as they shut out to Canada there as they play. We play our last World Cup game today, hosting, of course, in Vancouver. Lovely Vancouver. Shout out. I think it was Adam James Abroad was chilling out in BC, he was saying. So
you can't say anything about this not being an exciting tournament.
Oh, it's been great.
I'll tell you that
that's what I'm thinking. It's
unbelievable.
It's brought some fans probably to soccer, and then in about 2 months they'll forget all about it, and it'll be back to other
There won't be
things.
bottles broken on the street.
No.
So we were staying. I was just in London, England. For anyone that doesn't know, but for the last couple of days, we're up in Preston visiting family. So it's like, I don't know, it was a 2-hour train ride north, call it northwest. It's kind of like, it's more than halfway to Liverpool from London, but
Okay, 2 hours is
kind
good.
kind of up that direction.
It's a nice train ride.
The place we're staying was a 5-minute walk from the train station. In the morning, when we went to go catch our train. This is after. Obviously, England's win when they played.
Some people stumbling.
They played at 1 a.m. The game was at 1 a.m. till like 3-something in the morning.
Okay.
The walk from the hotel, which was 5 minutes to the bus station, like to tell you, it felt like I was walking in an obstacle course of broken glass. Like the amount of like beer bottles.
These hooligans.
This is kind of I don't know how big Preston is. I didn't get a very good sense of it. But like there were just broken bottles everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it wasn't so bad that I didn't get any sleep. The night that the game they won prior to that in London, when we were in, forget about it. Like everyone was going absolutely nuts.
Well,
like,
that's
but that's part of what you're there for.
Yeah,
like we're in a touristy era.
That's part of the best part about being there.
Oh, for sure.
Is seeing the people and the culture.
You got to break bottles.
Got to get cultured up, but
you don't have to break bottles. You can celebrate.
Preston is a horrible town. I don't know why that would be 169.
Well, I don't know too much about it.
Yeah, I mean we're not.
My wife's cousin lives there, so that's why we were visiting.
Okay.
My family's is in Leicester, and some people say Leicester's not the greatest place in the world. So.
Did you wind up visiting there?
I don't know. We had a good visit. The park there was pretty nice, and we're happy to be back. But now just looking for this market to maybe. I don't want it to break down. Like it would be nice to maybe catch a dip by an IBIT, but
it's not
looking
good,
for
it's
SMR. I'm looking for SMR to break down at this point. And someone in the chat saying, "Have I not seen Eurotrip?" Neil, have you not seen? I've seen Eurotrip. What? They go to Preston in Eurotrip?
Do they? I don't know.
No, there's the soccer hooligans in Eurotrip, but you're accustomed to that kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll expect all that. You said 1 a.m., so I was thinking like if a sporting event ends here around 10, most people 2, 3 a.m. at least. That's 5 hours, so that would put it to 6 a.m., 7 a.m. is probably when people would stop partying. I would think.
There was really nobody on the street by. Like I feel like that settled down closer to 5 or 6 a.m. Like people just kind of gave it up. What was crazy is they let kids go to school like 2 hours late. Where you were allowed to be 2 hours late.
They should cancel school that day.
I was like, why did they even bother?
Why is there still school going on now, anyways?
Well, they do different over in Europe. Like they have they don't have July. A proper summer, like a summer break's not like the whole summer like we do it. They have like it's like a longer break, but it's not a real one.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird to me.
Okay.
Kids can't focus when it's 40 degrees. And they don't have, first of all, they don't have AC in a lot of places.
No.
Like one of the museums, they didn't have any AC.
Museum? Yeah, I know.
Oh, bro.
London is, we were in London. We loved London. Going through everything, Piccadilly Square and just Trafalgar Square and all that stuff, man. It's really, really awesome. Okay, what is that? CLRO? Something like that. So there it is, ClearOne up to 16. I heard these guys talking about 15. There it goes, CLRO. Nice move today on, I'm assuming some sort of news, but there goes CLRO. Upside from 6 up to 15 and still going. I don't know if anyone on the midday show was trading this worthwhile, but nice move there. Yeah, really holding VWAP, right? I mean, pretty much held it all day. So now you're way away from that. So now I would think, potentially, I don't want to say the move is over. We topped out right there at 15, made a move back into 13 right now, getting that top wick right there coming in. I don't know what it would cost to short this name in particular, and I don't know if that's the right call either. Maybe we zoom out and we can see, so there's going to be nothing here. And even if there is, I discount whatever's happening back here anyways. So $16, obviously we're well extended through there. I mean, here's the real, sort of actionable trade right into here. It's between 6 and 7. That's where we sort of went back and forth there, and then we busted through that at $7, and now it's just pure upside up into 16. But that's, it's easy to say now because we haven't closed. This is a 1-day chart. That could be a top wick there, but we got to close that out. And if you're looking at a 5-minute chart, does look a little toppy there on CLRO, so maybe, and then the volume profile as well. The last time we spiked like this, we actually continued to go higher right there on that little volume spike back at 130, and then right into here, a volume spike to the downside off of a halt. So right now, we'll wait to see what winds up happening with CLRO, but for now, nice move up, and we may have extended out through 1630 now on CLRO. The real story is going to be Meta, I guess, as that's just going higher. We looked at it was 2%. Adara brought us this news here. Meta rolls out image generation model Muse. So I don't know. I mean, I can, is it that much better than what else is available? Maybe it is. What will they charge for the tokens? I don't know. We do have Gemini 3.5 Pro, which has Nano Banana, an improved image generator there as well. And then there's also ChatGPT and Grok. Every time I log into Twitter, it tells me, or X, it tells me to look at this new Grok image generation thing. I have never done it, but I would assume that that's also something that they're talking about. So at least right now, Meta's joining the party. So that's something that, we can, maybe they can sort of plant their flag in, right? That they have that image generator. There's a lot of people that are obviously on Instagram and, some of those content creators that are looking to make things like this. And if they can keep it in-house, I guess that's where the benefit is, that you don't have to go from one app to another to another. Yeah. If they can if they can integrate into Instagram, then maybe it will be a success story that we're just not realizing right now.
It just has to be good enough. Doesn't have to be the best.
That's the thing. And depends, if it's affordable and, that's the thing. This token generation thing is just it costs way more money to generate these tokens than they're charging. So,
China.
That's why I said, that's why I like Alibaba coming back from the dead here. So, all right, let's go back over to from the window to the wall. It's Adara.
It is time for the window, to the wall, where I look at a infographic window and I put it up here on the wall and we talk about it. Now, this was a choice that I made this a little bit ambitious. I want to get into it. I want to start by saying I drew over these state lines, so I apologize if I drew your state kind of weird. I don't have a steady hand, so some of these are a little squiggly. But let's first explain what this visual is. So as you guys know, I mentioned it in the midday. I've been mentioning it for the last couple days. What I've been trying to do here is go through all 50 U.S. states and see, since the start of the year, since January 1st, 2026, have you initiated any kind of actions with regards to public companies? And the answer for every single one of these states is a resounding yes. So that's right. Every single state has initiated at least one, actually at least two actions, either individually or part of a multi-state coalition against a public company. So let's talk about what these stars mean. This star here, yellow, allegations. Hey, company, I think you did this. It's not a formal investigation. Then you've got suits. This is if they file a lawsuit. You can see quite a few of these like reddish, pinkish stars here. Settlements are the light pink stars. This is like, okay, we came to a that's statements. That's like, we assert this about this company. We have this opinion. It's not an action. It's just kind of a comment. Now, alert is, hey, consumers, be aware this company is doing this thing, which may or may not be harmful to you. Requests are, hey, we're requesting either information from a company or we're requesting that the DOJ get involved. Settlements here, and as you can see, this is probably the largest portion here, with a lot of these states having like multiple settlements. This is, again, some kind of cash settlement. In the case of Cal-Maine, some kind of egg settlement between the state and the company. Investigations, hey, we're looking into XYZ allegation that we have with you. Again, it's different from an allegation because there's an actual action being taken. Then wins, it's like, okay, we won a case. There's only really two types of these. So there's going to be 33 states here with LYV or Live Nation related wins for that antitrust trial going back to April. And then New Mexico here has 2 wins because they also won that Meta trial. And then you've got indictments. This is, okay, a charge was laid against a company. There's really only one here. I think this was Dollar Tree, and that's over in that corner, one of the Virginias. And then you've got agreement. So this is like, okay, the company and the state came to an agreement. So you might be like, Adara, why does this matter? Valid question, a question I ask myself a lot. There are a couple of reasons why I think this matters. One, I think it's worth noting, as I said in the the midday, we talk a lot about how often these European countries are suing American companies. Look at how often American states sue American companies. It's so often, guys. It's like hundreds of times so far this year. And again, that's in coalitions and individually, but I do think that's important to remember and I think really important to contextualize. Now, furthermore, a lot of these state AGs who have these opinions about certain companies or certain types of companies, mostly big tech, a lot of them end up going into legislation. They join Congress. They join the Senate. Like examples off the top of my head, current Texas state AG Ken Paxton, he's running for Senate right now. You also have not one, but two current U.S. Missouri senators. They were both former Missouri state AGs. So guys, this does matter. I know it looks a little crazy, but there was a method to my madness, and I do think it's important to kind of acknowledge the amount of U.S. companies that are getting investigated here by states. So speaking of those companies, I have a whole other visual just showing like the companies and how often each of these has been investigated so far this year. That'll be coming out tomorrow. But in the meantime, that was today's segment of To the Window, to the Wall. I hope you enjoyed this kind of crazy deep dive. Please let me know what you think in the chat. And in the meantime, we're going to send you back over to the desk.
Back from the window to the desk, and thank you, Adara. And you know what?
It's a big graphic.
It's low-hanging fruit to say that politicians want to go after big businesses. That said, I got a sneak peek at one of those graphics, and if there's a list of like the largest companies that are, or the companies that are getting litigated against by the government the most, I will tell you that it's okay if you're. It's okay if you're Alphabet and you're on that list for obvious reasons. It's okay if you're Meta and you're on that list. The biggest of the biggest, you expect to be there. Now, if a company like Shopify ends up in like the top 15,
you gotta get those lawyers ready to go.
Like that's where you're like, okay, well, what's going on here? And you see a stock which has been maybe a little bit depressed as well. That's where you don't want to end up on the list. It's expected of the mags. It's expected when you are when effectively you're one of the top 10, top 20 largest market cap companies. Those guys are expected to be in there. But when you're not in the top 50, but you're in the top 10 the wrong way or the top 20 the wrong way, that's where you can start to think about this as being real and having some legitimate concerns. I'm nothing against Shopify.
It's also, it's, but so I was going to say, if you take the other way around as well, I don't know if Adara remembers what day the DOJ dropped, their case, I guess, against Google or voted in favor of that.
I know it was September of 2025.
Right, so that's where I am.
I think it was a Monday or Tuesday. I believe it was after, I think it was the Tuesday after Labor Day, I want to say. Or the week after that.
Okay, I'll give you the whole week. It's fine. But right into there, I mean, that makes sense. Here's a big volume spike right there. So it does look like it's going to be September 2 or 3, something like that. And there's the bump up, right? And then Google has never looked back from that day. I actually think it was before this, Adara, maybe, but because I thought it was like around 160, 170. But at the end of the day, there it is right there. You can start getting some bumps. It might have even been, is it possible that it was in April or May, but no, that would have been the tariff. Probably would have been somewhere around here. Anyways, sometimes these stories get turned the other way around, and ever since then, Google has just been off to the races. So, sometimes when you draw the ire and the look of, the feds or whoever's on top of you, the FTC or whatever, we talked about LenaCon in the past, and, but when those stories go away, then the analysts can come out and get their teeth out again and start to grind the stock back higher and put out different price targets and all that, because the pressure of some of those lawsuits have abated, right? And that's something to definitely think about here with some of those names that are on that list, as Neil said, especially if they're bigger names. Like, the smaller ones, obviously those are a little bit easier. When they, win or lose lawsuits, it can even bankrupt some stocks. But for names like Google and Meta and Amazon and all this, you definitely want to make sure to watch out for some of those pluses and minuses of said, lawsuits or injunctions or whatever. But there it is right now. What is stopping Meta? Like, this is very much a little bit like, I thought the other stories that we got were actually like bigger, but I guess, that day when Meta went from 6, it was,
the data
here it goes. Yeah, the day that they had that compute story, you weren't here, but it absolutely ripped. I don't even know where what that day was, but it absolutely ripped up there. But this is a huge move. Like, this happened right at 2 o'clock. It's only been 25 minutes, 6:10 to 6:26. So maybe a little bit of a pullback in store for Meta at some point. But hey, man, they're in now, and that's what we're all about, right? Is that Meta trying to reinvent themselves? And we got that question earlier. and that was, what about breaking, and when are we going to go long on Meta? And I'm thinking, like, still the same thing. It's just that's 640, like this break right into there. We've seen it come upside, maybe 645, something like that. And I don't think you're going to miss the run. I don't think you're going to be upset if you miss that, you know, that push from here. If you say, wow, why didn't I buy at 630 or something? You know, if you had those same thoughts into here, you had to let it go all the way back down to 540. And then again on that, here's that move up there on the compute. So that would have been June 30th. So there it is all the way to the upside. It just got faded as well. So if you ran to buy Meta on that news day, you could have bought it $50 lower. So let's just see what winds up happening today. Would like to see, as Neil said, it hold over, you know, more than one day, more than one afternoon. It could be a short now, trying to come back in a little bit here. We're still in Palantir and we're still in SpaceX, both of which are just hanging out. I mean, look at these futures. You know, what do we want to do with these? I almost think a break here. I said, could we get to 30,000 today? We actually went the other way, but right there, 29.5. Like this little level breaking lower, I'd still like to see us take VWAP, but maybe a downside push or so happening. And SpaceX saying, hold my beer, and so is Palantir. Like they're both up pretty nicely right now. I think I'm gonna get another, I still have some shares, so we're gonna get another piece out on Palantir if we're lucky to do that at 71 here. And then we'll go from there. But that's part of that whole, we talked about the real, I don't know if there's gonna be a campus read or anything soon, but campus here at Real Trading, that's where it's gonna help you figure out the difference between like professional and retail order flow and execution and things like that. And the fact that we get paid to add liquidity is something else. And that's something that we want to focus on all the time as well. So here we go, Palantir, maybe on the way back in right now. An interesting name for a longer term here. And Fabian, maybe you can help me out here. I think it's November, I think is take two. And that's when it's time to dance with, Grand Theft Auto. So, I mean, what an idiot I am for many reasons, but also for like when we had the move down here, like we knew Grand Theft Auto was coming. It's not like it wasn't an easy sort of take. I mean, we go all the way back in here into April, tariff time of 2025. Take two came in there. I know, Fabian. This is what I'm saying, my guy. You did give me that. I gave myself that. We've been looking at this for a hell of a long time right there, and we didn't pull the trigger. So there it is, 190 up to 250. Great take on take two, and we'll see what that wants to do there. I think a blowout of 265 is imminent on this name, and then you just ride that to the high side as we wait for Grand Theft Auto coming in just 2 months now. The pre-orders were already going through. Control, yeah. My kid was talking to me about the pre-orders of it. And so it's going to be a big time game. Take two, just one of those names. Because I was looking at Roblox, but I think this is a little bit of a safer bet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be successful. But they just dump so much money into it that I don't know what classifies it as success.
I mean, Roblox has been, you know what, it's breaking down trend now.
Yeah.
So Roblox, it's been a minute, but Roblox has made the bottom, right? So like the temporary bottom, how far it wants to go, can it get 50 to 200? That's a name in the space. It's not doing, well, it's literally flat today. So it's obviously not doing much of anything in here today. But if you're staying on space, triple bottom on the daily, over the 50 period, now you're getting a nice little consolidation above. This looks constructive. I'd still say lean into the whole downward sloping 200 period moving average means have some realistic expectations as to how far the bounce is going to go. And when I think that, you're thinking 70 to 75 here. But that's another name, which is, you can say not doing much today, but that's consolidating when you're going higher is perfectly fine, as long as you can hold on to things like 54. Like the example I'd use would be the hooded one, Robinhood, which is kind of in that same mold today, inside day, but still holding support. So a bit of a bull flag on a higher time frame if you're able to pull it up. And then the uptrend and the low has been made. There's your hold to low, there's your hold to 50. This one actually broke the 200 period, so I do still like that. This afternoon, maybe not so much, because, well, it's barely holding on to VWAP, and it's underneath VWAP, whereas the Qs are above and possibly breaking down now. Yeah, you know what? As I say that, I'm about to hop out of this IBIT trade. It's consolidating higher, but it's not really breaking. It's not breaking out. And if we're coming in the other way, I still like that SMR short if we can grab it. Yeah. I might even look to a BMNR breaking down. This has been relatively weak in the space. Like if IBID and ETH are at the highs, and this is already breaking down into VWAP, I might look for this breaking VWAP. But I just realized we still have to pay for locates on BM&R. So
Oh, do we still?
do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really trade that last week, so I don't.
It's one of those, like, sometimes
Still
you got
gotta
to
pay
pay
on
a
space
quarter
cents.
of a cent. I think that'll be, give it a week or two. That'll be free here, real trading. It's literally 0.02 cents or something like that per share for locates on SpaceX.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh,
still
no, it's free. It's
basically free.
A couple hundred shares was like 5 cents, literally.
Nothing.
It's something stupid how low SpaceX locates are.
That's a value. It's one of the values at real trading is 99 point something. I don't know the exact number. 99 point something % of all U.S. stocks are effectively free to borrow, easy to borrow, I should say, or free for locates, be able to go short. And then the small percentage where you have to pay, it's very, very reasonable. It's only ever expensive when it's that stock that you've never heard of with an 800,000 float starts randomly doing volume. That's the one where you're actually going to have to pay something real. But that would be expected. Let's go up to SIA for happening now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Neil. It is indeed happening now time. Let's take a look at what the major averages are doing with the IWM in there. As the SPY currently down 0.3% at the moment. The triple Qs are also down 1.4%. The Dow is down 0.22% with the IWM down close to 2%. Not too far away, not too close. Let's take a look at what we're talking about. CTSH. We're talking about CTSH has said that it will expand its partnership with Google Cloud. It's aimed at accelerating enterprise adoption of Gemini AI. So it's continuing to hold that momentum. It was 6% up currently, up 5.7% on the day. Not that much of a difference. So let's also take a look at USAR, USA Rare Earth. So continuing to fall more than 6% here after the Wall Street Journal has reported that a group of Democratic lawmakers are expanding their inquiry. This is very relevant because Adara just did that segment right now. And it's reported that a group of Democratic lawmakers are expanding their inquiry into the government's funding. That's a $1.6 billion investment in the company. So in particular, the lawmakers are seeking information from Cantor Fitzgerald regarding a potential conflict of interest that's tied to Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. With that, USAR down on the day 7%, and we're going to send it over to Neil.
Thank you very much, Sia. Well, we were just talking about real trading and locates and the advantages that you can have if you're doing so. Well, you know what? If you want to become a real trader, the next trading cohort is just around the corner. And this time, we're expanding our reach. If you live outside the U.S., now's your chance to apply and join the program. You'll be trading U.S. equities during regular market hours, so be sure you're available for the continuous U.S. session. This program is carefully designed to help you master market microstructure, different marketplaces and venues, order types, professional versus retail or amateur approaches to execution. The space is limited, so don't wait. Apply now, take your trading skills to the next level. Shout out to Real Trading for sure. And again, sign up quickly. It always seems to fill up pretty fast when we do the promo, so you got to make sure you get in there if you're outside of the United States of America, everybody. But it is about trading those U.S. markets because, let's be real, markets go as the U.S. markets go. They absolutely.
I was showing an example.
Like July 4th, like look at Toronto.
Yeah, no, I was showing an example yesterday, but like names like TD Bank and Royal Bank, they do more volume in Toronto. So there's a lot of opportunity. And we always are showing you guys, here, let's figure out who made all the money there the last little while here at Real Trading. We'll show you, it's not who, it's what. And we'll give you a little bit of an idea of some of the names that have been looked at here. And actually, it's not the names. We did get the email of the names, but this is the market right here. So we'll go down. I just saw a big number there. Somebody yesterday, somebody figured out something on the Nasdaq yesterday, or the AMEX most likely. There it is, man. $61,000 yesterday someone made, and this is all prop money.
I'm guessing.
So we've got Amex, Nasdaq, New York, so on and so forth. Amex, Nasdaq, New York. These guys are all probably holding hands. And then Amex and Nasdaq as it keeps on going. There's someone there in Blue Ocean. Yes, it will. There's Blue Ocean. There's Nasdaq, New York, Amex, Nasdaq, so on and so forth. Okay, I'll talk to you about it then after, Rob. 9,000 right there for Blue Ocean. So good little run there in Blue Ocean. Remember, the Blue Ocean is the next couple days, so it's not necessarily last night. It was the night before. So you might have had some earnings or the SOXL or SpaceX or something like that going off there. And I know Sia just went through some of what's happening now. You know, the thing that always interests me is this section here, because so many of these names have really had huge runs, and I don't necessarily think that, you know, I know Caterpillar, and you know, I know what the you know, turbines and everything like that are now being used, and you know, typically used there for farming and whatnot, and et cetera, et cetera. You know, for me, some of these things still have use case, like even after, and you can see Caterpillar down 929. I think the all-time high is what, 1100 or something. It's some of these pullbacks that are now happening that, you know, get me a little interested, because I do think that Caterpillar, we talked about GE Vernova and some of the other names there, IREN and Constellation and blah, blah, blah. Some of these other names that I think there's a lot of value in this space here. Deere, even John Deere, you know, could see a little bump up as well, down 6%. And this doesn't show me the chart. So if we actually go over into said chart and take a look at John Deere or Deere and Company, and even Caterpillar's at the 50-period moving average. But like, this was just, you know, it's not like it was moments away, but it was coming up into all-time highs again, and there's a little bit of a dump down. So you're getting a pretty aggressive move here today on DE. You know, that's coming back. And then here's Caterpillar as well. So some of these names that were, you know, more classic industrial names, more classic names attached to agriculture and whatnot, now have been associated a lot with power generation and, you know, equipment, as well as rebuilding and building up databases and the infrastructure plays. I still think that there's some value coming in here, and there goes Caterpillar down into 920 again. Last time we were at the 50 period, we hit 855. They made a move up basically $200 straight to the north side there on CAT. So, you know, a little bit of an opportunity there that might be a little bit different than what you were thinking about the last time you looked at a Caterpillar or any of these names. So yeah, coming back into a good spot there is Caterpillar.
It's not alone. GE Vernova pulled back into the 50 period on the daily. These are somewhat healthy, but remember, these are all things which have gotten repriced based on what is going on with AI. And when that cycle comes back, they do have, look, they all have pretty solid moats. Like, they're not completely falling apart. These are not the type of names that are going to get rugged to zero if you make an AI top, but they are names that could have some deep corrections. Like, is it crazy? Like, GE Vernova, would it be crazy if it was back at $800 by the end of the year? I don't necessarily think so. That's really going to depend on the hyperscalers for us. Right? Like, as long as that stays on track, then I think, you know, you're probably going to be okay. But the second you start seeing that spending drop, yeah, why wouldn't you be all the way back down into some of those levels? I mean, it certainly makes a bit of sense to me. Well, you get a sticky note.
Yeah, because I'm trying to ask Rob about this printer that's going on here.
Nobody prints anything anymore, Sean. What are you trying to print?
I just sent you a thing. I'm attaching to the wrong printer, it looks like.
Oh, you must be printing a lineup.
Over here.
You're making the baseball
No, I'm printing yeah, well, we have a baseball. Actually, I got to do that later. That's tomorrow.
I knew it.
I have that one right into here.
I know that.
See, I keep on trying to get this one, but it's this one.
I don't even know what printer we use here.
Right. Yeah, it's okay. I got it now. Don't worry about it.
Have you tried logging out and logging back in?
Well, is it on the website?
I don't know if it's on the website.
I mean, that's what I was trying to figure out right here, if it's on the website or not. Yeah, we've had a couple different printers come through here, and I just was printing back a shipping label.
What's the last thing you print?
On that, we don't print. I mean,
what's the last thing I printed?
I was actually thinking about that, and it's like, we have a printer at home. That's for the kids. Like, I think that they'll print things for school and things like that, but it's just like a very, very basic printer, and we go to like Staples or something and get the ink for it every once in a while. I don't know the last time. I mean, everything now, if you just have a barcode, you can pretty much show it to whomever you want.
I'm legitimately trying to think of the last thing. I know I had to print something here recently because I asked Rob, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, that's gonna bug me.
That's what Rob's all about.
You know what? It doesn't matter. But like, everybody's got a. I shouldn't say everybody.
It's like a DVD player. It's like
we have a printer at home. Maybe. I don't know. I couldn't tell you where it is, but it's somewhere. It's somewhere in the house, probably in the room of doom, where a bunch of stuff has just been stored. It'd be fun to go Office Space on that bad boy, because
you actually have a name for that room. That's pretty cool. The room.
No, that's not. No, that's a bad thing.
No, I know it's a bad thing, but I just like. We have a bunch of stuff lying around everywhere too. I mean, when you have kids, you only have one kid. You got 3 kids.
That's why I don't understand how it could be so bad. Like, we shouldn't have that much crap. We only have one kid. Yeah. Yet we do, and it's, I don't know, it drives me nuts.
Crap everywhere. We should have Brian Shannon ready to go, guys, soon, not now.
Yeah.
But he's going to come here today 245-ish. So
Yes,
in a matter of
5
minutes there. And I'm going to ask him about Meta.
Meta did make the top, by the way.
Damn it. Darn it. Shoot. Rats. Last time we were looking at Meta, man, we were talking about that little top wick there. I mean, look, there's been lots of them. It's fine, but it was the first real kind of pullback that had happened. And I think sometimes you want to go like on the prior bar close. You might not even use that one, but maybe this bar right there. So a close of like 622 gave us some downside play there. So I think that there was a little bit of love there for Meta on the short. So I think that was for someone, hopefully you guys maybe took it, maybe you didn't, but that looks like a decent call there for anybody looking at Meta onto the short there. Could be into something. That's all. We'll wait to see what winds up happening on a little bit of a pullback, only because we've seen it before many times. And I think that's part of muscle memory really is that we've seen Meta go back and forth through these levels and just come back in after news. So Meta right now doing what we all thought it would and pulling back just a little bit there. I feel like I thought it would have pulled back a little bit more. Yeah, right now holding for 620, not bad at all. We did have Amazon earlier today. I tried this one. It's fine. We're down on it, but it's nothing to really write home about. That was a great move higher there. And because it was a little early, it's the same time that we had this Palantir and whatever else we had there. Apple, I think, was getting run over there. But we found it. We got it to the upside. This is the problem. We lost there, and then we lost there again, which is why I'm saying it's a hit. It's not a big hit, but it's still a hit. And Amazon right now gave it up into 244. They had a $25 billion offering or something today, notes offering. So that's not great that they have to raise a little bit of capital, but the market doesn't seem to care that much. With the Nasdaq being down 1.5, Amazon's only down 0.6.
Easier for them to than it is for others. Like you worry when Rivian says they're raising money, it's a problem.
You're right.
They're going to get pummeled over.
How much is that down? That was down 13.
Great question.
RIV.
Great question. It was down. It's probably still low.
Oh,
wow.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, Rivian not
Ooh, that's loud.
Not really appreciating Rivian actually to the downside. And
Yikes.
I was debating picking some of this up, but then I was reading about it. It's like they're still losing a lot of money, man, and they still lose money per every car that they're doing. Sharif, I actually have to read Sharif's morning note because he had something there about they have to meet certain obligations to get some sort of federal funding or some grant, and that may or may not happen. And if and when we get that news story, that could create another downside push. So I think for me anyways, a little bit of work needs to be done here to consider exactly what play we're having on Rivian. So I would like to buy it down at 15. This is actually 16 is a 200 period. We may get that tomorrow. So wish what you want, but don't wish too hard because that could be coming through tomorrow. Joe has something about that saying, you could wish in one hand and do something else in the other and see what actually happens. I forget what that. Yeah, I know. See what goes first. And,
I know that one.
Yeah. So that's what.
Yeah,
that
you
is
can.
there,
Yeah,
but,
you could say it, but
yeah. Anyways, that's something there. So yeah, we'll just wait to hear on Rivian. I don't want to chase this one to the downside. Tesla's having its own problems. I mean, we got that story from Toyota today, moving some of their production into the United States. They didn't even react to that. There's Tesla right now down 3.5%, and yeah, that 420 level again, like. Some of these things have memory. Like we're up to 420 there, it came back in, ripped up to 420. I mean, it did break a little bit higher, but there is a move back down in again. So just hovering around. Hey, there's worse Mag 7s out there, so I don't want to throw too much shade over here at Elon.
Oh, you can't. There's way worse.
Way worse. And it's just like, this is just now breaking its 50 and its 200 period moving average. You look at stocks, like a Microsoft or, even a Meta or, as you go
everybody that's not Apple and Alphabet,
unfortunately,
basically.
NVIDIA. Oh, NVIDIA actually has a really great bounce today. I can't really hate on that. That's a nice move, right? From 190, 150 all the way back up to 197. Great job, NVIDIA, actually. So why is the market down so much? Is it still that DRAM story? Like, why are we down 1.6?
Micron's still down 6.
Yeah, it's this whole, here it is. I mean, that's why I just call it DRAM. It's like SOXL and DRAM and all these names. DRAM still down 7%. I wrote it down as a short for the very first time. I put it on the notes today, but it didn't get there. I was thinking if we did have a rebound in DRAM, but we haven't really. Sure, we got one off those lows. How much was this down at 1.11% or something? So not a great story today for some of these names, including SOXL, including Marvell, and maybe I'm missing something. What was there like a major? I mean, I know a Samsung, but was there?
That's all it is.
Yeah, I feel like there
that
must
was
be.
literally all it is.
That's all it is.
SanDisk dropped. I mean, it's recovered already like more than $100, but it dropped like $100 on this, so.
Okay.
This is one of the remember the good old days
Nope.
When ARM was trading at $430.
What, last week?
Where you could, I don't know, what do I usually say? Where you could have go outside without locking your door.
Yeah.
Where people actually talk to their neighbors.
No, don't remember
like those good old days? No, I'm not talking about a couple of weeks ago for those things, but you are for ARM. Like you're just, you're cruising. And remember, when stocks do this, like if it's going to go from $300 to $450, make a 50% move in 1 week, well, when it gets back down there pretty quickly, you can't be that ridiculously surprised at this point. What's scary about the ARM is if it loses not 3. I mean, it's under 300 now, but if it holds under this 300 and loses the support down here, so probably like the 290, then you start talking about that 200 breakout that we were literally just doing a few months ago. Like these names have some serious ways to pull back. Like when part of the reason why they went up was talking about revenue that's not really getting booked for 3 years, or I guess 2.5 now, then you got to understand if people start having short-term projections of growth get scaled back in some other names, what does that do to the ones that have a couple extra years before they even catch up? Because they just went into making their own chips here, really competing with some of their clients. That's a new one, and that could be fantastic for them. But the timing for all of that gets pretty nasty if people are calling some kind of a top on the memory chip names or the chip names in particular. So the only thing that I didn't get BM&R because it's not really, I don't know, Bitcoin is trying to make a bit of a bounce. So crypto's bouncing a little bit here. So that BM&R short might not actually even set up if we just get back to the highs on some of the crypto names. But SMR did break that little trend. So there's SMR breaking the trend line. We got our consolidation short, looking for VWAP to try to get half out, then try to hold for it to break even lower. But the Nasdaq could be contributing to a little bit of this as it's started to move. So that range that we were sitting in from 1230 till basically now, 2 hours worth of range, we just broke down. And I feel like it's because if Meta wasn't enough to drag the Nasdaq up, when Meta made the top, it was clearly enough to drag it back down. And that's maybe that's an indication when Meta was doing this, the Nasdaq didn't want to break out. So the second Meta stopped, it's like, okay, there you go. Now we're rolling back a little bit here. So keep an eye on Meta. This gets all the way to VWAP, probably not going to be a good thing for the overall market. As it's halfway back there now, but we're going up to the desk. We've got Sia.
Thank you. Let's take a look at the individual tickers and also start by looking at the IWM, which is still down 0.67% on the day. CLRO, ClearOne, is up 112% at the moment. It's entered into an agreement and plan of merger to acquire Cognizant with Vivani, receiving over 500,000, near to 12 million, well over 500,000, 12 million almost ClearOne shares just as consideration. So the stock is reacting. Obviously, it's up 112% on the day. IVVD, Invivyd, is up 16.5% on the day after the company has announced that it has received notice from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which is the FDA, of the impending expiry of its emergency use authorization for its PEMGARDA preventive treatment. So PEMGARDA's emergency status will be ending on June 29th of next year unless the company secures a full FDA approval by that time.
All right, thanks, Sia, there for all of that. I just wanted to, here is Luis. You mentioned there that we missed your super chat. I was covering a little bit on Palantir, but I guess we didn't exactly talk about will it get to 160 by the end of the month. I mean, like I was saying about having that crystal ball. Look, I mean, would love to be able to tell you that this does have another 15% in it. I think it does. I mean, we're kind of going to the upside today. We got a story today. It's on our watch list about a deal with the Mexican government. I just think that in a little bit of a better feel right now with some of those software names. I think we've sort of talked a little bit about those as well and how that's been going. I just think working in, Alex Karp was on CNBC there. He's talking, about everything that he can about the power of Palantir and how, you keep your own data and, everything that they've built is going to be, you use your information with that. It's not like these other LLMs where they're just taking whatever Neil and I put as inputs and then, figuring it out from there. Palantir has a very unique situation with all the travel and everything that's been happening now, border security and just immigration. I like the Palantir story. I have not been buying more though down here. Obviously looking back and saying $100, like to go from in June, let's just say July 1st, first of the month there was $100 and say $7 or $8. I know there's a weekend in here, but if you go from 106 up to 160, like that's 55% in a month. So is it possible? Have we seen names, do stuff like that before? The answer is resounding yes, but that's still a big move. So I don't know. I'm not sure if it's an options play. We can maybe talk to that with Joe, a little bit tomorrow or whatever. But 160, that's where the 200 period moving average is. So I think you're right about looking for that level. But I think it's a little premature to say that this thing's going to go up 55% in a month. But, it's happened before and it's halfway there now. So let's see if it can get back to the upside here. Palantir. Good call. I'm long it right there. I'm as long as we still get these stories that we like, then I'm going to keep on pushing the Palantir long. But there's, by the way,
oil spike.
As we were just, oil spiking right here. Something about Iran. We are going to go to Adair in a second, but there's that break that we sort of were afraid of. We talked about breaking right here, 29.5 on the Nasdaq. Yeah, that worked, man. And there it is to the downside now. Taking out a whole bunch of levels here is the Nasdaq. So what's up, Adair? What's causing this?
There is a story that's causing this. So I'm seeing here, apparently the U.S. Treasury has revoked a Iran-related waiver from June 21st. I looked this up because I didn't remember hearing about this. And apparently it was issued actually on June 22nd, so not the 21st. So either way here, this waiver, regardless of when it was initiated, apparently this was a temporary 60-day sanctions waiver allowing Iran to produce, sell, and deliver crude and petroleum products. That's been revoked. So again, just over 10 days into that 60-day waiver, it gets revoked. I guess sanctions are back on, it sounds like, here for Iran. We'll take a look here at USO, which is spiking to the upside. Furthermore, comments coming in from the U.S. U.S. officials saying that Iran's actions in the Strait of Hormuz were, quote, wholly unacceptable to the U.S. and will be, quote, met with consequences. So in addition to revoking that sanctions waiver, you also have the U.S. threatening consequences for some actions of Iran in the Strait of Hormuz earlier today and earlier this week. We talked about it earlier, a couple different strikes that were targets, I guess, from Iran towards these other countries, in the Strait. If I get more details, I'll let you know, but I think the move up is just basically because we're seeing heightened hostilities and tensions between the U.S. and Iran. Back to you.
Yeah, I mean, watching at USO, you weren't here, but USO hadn't been doing much other than coming back in. Gas prices much more affordable around these places right now, and I hope it is around where you guys are as well.
Huge when I got back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
much better discounts happening right now.
But the market's starting to.
Yeah, missed the boat a little bit here. SpaceX coming back in. We still have like that. It's not a huge position. We have like that 10% or so left on SpaceX, but we do have to worry just a little bit about it here, of course, as this market is, coming back in, to say the least. So right now, there's SpaceX coming back in. We'll take a little bit off of that, and we did get some more Palantir out here, just at 137.50, as we break in a little lower there, as we get that question about Palantir, and yeah, a little lower right now on PLTR. I guess I missed that SpaceX. 151.07. I thought I punched out, but I must have missed it. Now you have some pressure there at 151. There, it's not alcohol, it's not 151 proof, but we'll see. 9,000 shares sitting there right now. That's all of these are represented by 100. So when you see a 1 there, that's supposed to be 100 shares. Now you could see that everything in between are all these prints. Blue is in between. Red is going to be off the bid. Green is off the ask. Most trading in SpaceX happening in between this spread. So just be careful. And I guess that's what happened. I must have punched 107 and didn't come through. So we'll wait to see now what winds up happening. Maybe, we don't even really need to care that much about these prices. Like if I'm dealing with one, I'm just going to punch out a little bit there. We'll cross down. There we go. We get an 85 as we cross into 83. So a little more of an out there. I don't think we'll reload this. The NASDAQ is not loving life right now.
Yeah.
That's just making a big move down. Like, honestly, that's pretty decent for this time, based on, of course, what Adair mentioned there with USO.
It's like we're moving on that, really?
I guess so. Oil's been kind of muted for a while. Okay, here we go. Something for you. TNGX.
Nick Dubs in the chat. Wait, what up, Nick? Been a minute. Obviously, good to see you again. TNGX on the 30. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me switch the 15 to a 30. So the thing, Nick, you always have, I think you just want me to change my time frames because I like a 15-minute chart there. Let's see. on TNGX. I got the Friday charts going on for this one. So you specifically like the 30-minute chart, so we'll indulge with this to see what it looks like technically.
It's a therapeutic company, just for FYI for you.
Is it also on the 30 or at 30? I'm gonna assume on the 30-minute because this looks pretty good, right? Like there you. Well, you've got a lot of deal making which is happening in the space. That's just already a good start. So I don't know if they've got any rumors surrounding them, but that definitely helps if they do. But I love the fact that you've got some. Look, you've got the consolidation here on the daily chart to start with, because I like to start outside in. Like this looks pretty solid. Like the 28 support, which was prior resistance up here. Then when you flash to that 30, really you're just sitting in front of the 28. Now the best part about the fact that you've got a support level on it. Again, there has been a lot of deal making recently within the space, so you can get a lot of sympathy bounces if you just buy some of these things in front of support, and that can kind of help it out. That said, you really need to know the individual stock, like what are its recent catalysts? Like, do they have any kind of like a trial result that you're looking forward to? Because that can be a good reason for, yeah, it's trending up and off some buy support. But if tomorrow, and I don't know, I'm just making this up for sake of argument here, if tomorrow they have some kind of a trial result happening, probably not the best time to be buying in front of the support level, because when they sell the news, your support levels don't really mean diddly in those situations. So yeah, you want to make sure you have an understanding of what they have coming up. When do they report? When do they have the next results? Is there anybody that just was a deal that would be sympathy to it and maybe a similar product line? Those are all things that you have to be concerned with. But I do like the technicals because, hey man, the trend is your friend till the end when it bends, and that's just taking the stairs to the upside. So thanks, Nick, for the super chat. Appreciate it for sure, as always. And you seem to, what I like about that is I feel every single time you bring something up, it is something which is trending higher. Like you seem to like to play that trend, which is so much easier than the alternative. Trying to pick a bottom, like an SMR, which is literally at 52 weeks.
It's close. No, it's like 8. What was it, 875 or something?
I'm eyeballing it. 8. Yeah, that sounds right. 875 sounds right to me.
It's 885. On e-signal.
Well, then it broke that this morning.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So it broke it this morning.
It got into its all-time lows.
Wow.
The 52-week low, not all-time.
Oh,
and of course, SMR formerly.
I lost one of my graphics. I don't even know which one it is.
Okay.
I'm going to hit the button and see which one it is that I've lost.
Bottom one you're looking for? No, there's not too many victories. Flawless non-victory.
Yeah, but like on my stream deck, I lost my icon for it because I have like these. You guys can't see. See, they have like, oh, there you go. There's like pictures for my buttons I hit, and now the flawless victory is gone. Like
it's probably Joe's fault.
Blue screen of death. But that's fine. I know what it is, so I can just hit that one. No, but seriously, why did I lose my fun graphic? I can hit my football one.
Yeah,
that's got a nice little picture. So I know what key I'm hitting. But for SMR, it seems like it's trying to catch a bit off of VWAP here. So I took another leg out. I might rest another bid in front of the volume weighted average price because VWAP is still a support, and I just bid 109. You told me just instead of that's hilarious. I just bid $1.09 instead of $8.99. So that was my bid for a split second.
I mean, here's a stock that, we've been talking about. I know you like it. I like it. We all like IBM. I mean, IBM was one, for some reason, honestly, we got into this name and then Trump, like we were in it because IBM's a name that honestly I've probably, and I'm going to show my age here, held this for 30 years, honestly, on IBM. It was one of the very first stocks I ever bought. Like I said, a disciple of Mad Money back in the day when I used to watch it with my father. So, getting into the banks and getting into IBM and, even NVIDIA early on, that's more of a, last decade story. But, IBM just, and then it was announced that they were getting a few $1 billion from the government. And we started to go upside as the whole quantum space sort of blew up. And then we did have an opportunity, but did not take it to get more down here. And again, like this is June 22nd. We were at 250. Now you're up to 310 again. So, throw out those textbooks that say some of these stocks aren't supposed to move like this. But IBM definitely is. I love this as a long-term quantum play. The more and more I see this, sort of, I'm going to say catastrophic, but it's not really because of where we come from. But when you look at a name like Marvell that was just $100 higher about a week ago, it really makes you think like, why not? And look, IBM had these moves down as well. This is not prone. I mean, IBM might have had this exact move down. What was this? 340 down to 240. Yeah. So they had a $100 move down lower as well. So it's not like, oh wow, it's easy to pick and choose which names that you want to sort of get back into and whatnot. But just thinking like,
I feel better about that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the long term for IBM is something that you can really wrap your head around. Meanwhile, playing in the DRAM space and this whole sandbox that is SanDisk and all these kind of names that just keep on moving, and they print millionaires, and I'm sure it takes a couple million away as well, because when it moves and you're caught the wrong way, it's like, look out, man, because you're coming off the morning and you're down 7 or 8%. And if the market keeps on going, next thing you know, you're down 11%, just like that. And I said earlier, like, to have all your money in a name like an AMD or something, there's obviously going to be associated risk with this. This is another name that's really hasn't fallen back in yet. This might be one of the best, honestly, one of the strongest and best names to hold in your portfolio right now, just because of the action that it's had. This has been a nasty couple days in the space. And this name is just like, yeah, that's fine. Like, we're just chill right now. So watch out for a 50-period break of 5 bills. Wow, that could be tomorrow's trade today. A break of 500 on AMD. We've wicked off of that now basically for a month. And, like I said, if there's a lot of people like myself looking at this saying, hey, this looks pretty good. This looks like it's going to hold up. It's like that whole call wall that we talked about yesterday with Joe. I forget what stock that was, Joe. Was it Meta? I think it was Meta 600. Yeah. So, watch out for AMD 500 today. And how's those Meta 600s tasting for everybody that was writing those calls or whatever? Now it's not great. You get some news. Hey, it was a sweet trade today early. Get those 600 calls long to buy them. Now you're up to 620. So good little movement here on Meta off of, again, Muse Spark. We finally found out what's up with that image generation there. They're now entering this sandbox now is Meta with this. But yeah,
hopefully not.
Pull back in SpaceX. I don't know. Are you out yet? No, because
I just put a break even. My stop was right in here at break
quick.
Even, so I'm out. It never got all the way to VWAP. It's the only place where we were looking to buy was in front of 155 and then 150. So we're gonna get it looks like we're gonna get a retest of 150 bones on this thing at this point. Seems almost inevitable. So that one's like an older one that'll be out. Yeah, you're still. If this is just a wick underneath VWAP on SMR, this is still kind of a strong name. I might try to get another leg out here under the volume weighted average price of SMR, and then we can see if we let it fly. I don't want this bouncing off VWAP and getting back into the high. You got to be able to take what you can, as we're going to go up to SIA. Again, that's SIA. What do you have for SIA?
That was funny. Anyways, SPY currently down 0.54% at the moment. Let's take a look at the sectors and what's going on. With electric tech, we have NVIDIA and Apple flat at the moment. AVGO, Micron continuing that bearish momentum. It's recovered just a little over 1%, but it's still down 7.2% at the moment, with INTC down close to 11%, Cisco down 1.5%, and AMD down 6% at the moment, with SNDK sliding further into the bearishness, down 10% at the moment. Tech services, we have Google, Microsoft, and Meta continuing their bullish momentum from earlier in the day. Google up 0.5%, Microsoft up 1%, with Meta up 3.3%, as is Palantir and Netflix, but Oracle still sliding down 2% on the day. Finance, we have BRKB, JPM, MA, BAC, MS, and WFC holding that flatness from earlier in the day. Visa is down 1.6% at the moment, with GS down closer inching to 1%, and Citi down close to 2%. With retail trade, we have Amazon up 0.64%. Walmart was a bit flat earlier in the day, but is up 1% at the moment. We have Costco still trading flat, 0.11%, 1%, just down a little bit. Home Depot, HD down 1.4% as well, followed by TJX up 1.2%. We have producer manufacturing continuing to be one of probably the worst performing sectors today, down with AMAT down 8%, CAT down 4.6%, LRCX and GEV down 8.16% and 7.6% respectively. Consumer non-durables, we have PM and PEP back up in the green. KO and PG have continued holding that strength from earlier in the day. We have consumer durables, we have Tesla down closer to 4%. Health tech, we have Lilly and J&J in the green, up 3%, very close to 3%, both of them each. ABBV is flat. Looks like it made a bit of a reversal. Right now, it was a bit of green earlier in the day. MRK up 1.4%. Energy Minerals has continued to show us that greenness from earlier in the day. It's super strong right now, still holding strong. XOM up 3%, CVX up 3%. Consumer services, a bit of a mixed sentiment, as is process industries and transportation. Uber seems to have gained a little bit more, up closer to 3% on the day, with health services and communication, as well as non-energy, a bit of a mixed sentiment in those three sectors as well. We have UNH up 1.6%, and that's a wrap on your sector watch.
Too.
So thank you there, Sia. I guess they were listening when we were pumping how great those Uber boats are over on the Thames there. Great for commuting, great views, good times. They weren't too packed, but
no, they're good.
Yeah, they were. It was fantastic.
I got a cappuccino on the one I went on.
Yeah, you can get. Well, see, I had to slow Aaron down on the, how many treats and snacks do you need to get on this? But it's not that long of a boat ride. We just ate. It's like, because you get on a boat that just happens to have like a little bar kiosk thing. It's like, of course, like you have to get something when you stop at a concession. Yeah. It's kind of like they have an ice cream in England. They have an ice cream truck. I'm telling you, they're everywhere. They can't possibly have that. It's insane though. You can't go 2 blocks without running into an ice cream truck. We go into a place, we go into a museum. I don't recall seeing one at the corner when I went in, and I come out, and I swear it's like, oh, now all of a sudden it's right there, and boom, now you're just getting, I ate a lot of ice cream. And I'm trying to blame it on something other than the fact that I have a sweet tooth, but if I'm being real about it, I just have a sweet tooth. I ate a lot of ice cream in London. And they got the slushy things too, and those are pretty delicious. You just can't go wrong. Yeah. And when it's like 30 degrees, you gotta have it. But no, back to Uber for a quick second. I think when you get rotation, sometimes you gotta wonder who's gonna power up next. And if you look at what is strong today, relative to most of the market, which is getting its what handed to it, Uber's been a pretty boringly crappy stock, but it's been a crap stock in the same range where there's just dip buyers on the low 70s, and you're getting some signs of, hey, it's starting to put in some higher lows, and if it can just like you sort of see the pattern here, and if we are getting some rotation. If it can just show you something at that 200 period moving average or into the 200 period moving average, like that's a good move off the lows. You ring a little Reggie because, hey, downward sloping 200 period moving average, stock's in a downtrend. So you're looking to get a little something back into this 80 level, just one good press. And maybe this is the start of something new. It's back above the 50 as of today, so maybe look for some continuation tomorrow. It's gonna have to take out this 75 though. That seems like that's the hurdle that we gotta get past, but plenty of room. 75 to 80s, that's a good move. Adara?
I was going to say start us something new. Is that a High School Musical reference? Very likely completely unintentional, but my brain just was like, so I don't know.
Okay, so first of all,
what the hell's High School Musical? I mean,
there is no chance I'm making a High School Musical reference.
I know what, I mean.
No, I know what it is. Like, I couldn't tell you the first thing about it, though. Like, I couldn't tell you a song in it. I couldn't tell you who's. No, why would I know? Why would I know?
I could not either. And Joe can't either.
Isn't that? No, that's not.
Joe?
What's the thing with Leah Michelle? That's not it.
I don't know. Leah Michelle. Oh, that was something else.
That's something else? What's that one? Oh, that's Glee. Okay.
Glee, yeah.
Well, it's like, isn't it? It's like Glee, right?
Stop doing high school.
Very different tonally, and in terms of the age demographic, who it's for, and also one is a show and the other is a series of movies.
Okay, well,
stop
fine. Make fun of me,
references
man.
to High School Musical. Okay,
yeah, that's my bad.
Neil, you've heard that.
I was just trying to drop my.
Something new.
Huh?
What?
Start us something new. Do you know that?
Can you sing it, please?
Honestly,
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know it unless somebody sing it for me.
There's no point of reference. No point of reference. Okay. Yeah. So no, bad on us, Neil. We have no idea about High School Musical, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. But yeah, shout out to High School Musical and Neil making random references around these joints.
Clearly intentional.
Right now. All right. All right, we got out a little bit there. Hope you guys are having fun with us. 137.50 came right back up, so take advantage of that, getting lighter and lighter as this day goes on, because it looks like we are getting set to break. I mean, you know, we had sort of sensed a little bit there. We told you we were offering these prices. So there's that 150, 107 that we wound up getting eventually, and then we wind up getting that 150, 80, you know, when we punched out the first time. So yeah, man, it's back in right now. It's SpaceX coming back into 150. My stop is still right here. Break of 150, and we're out on this name. I mean, the futures are. This is the missed opportunity for me. Is we actually called. We looked at this and it was kind of doing nothing, and we're like, well, I was like, if it breaks, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. But we were going to run into VWAP, so I thought the short would have been here. So to call it from up here, we did not. But to look at it down at VWAP, that's looking pretty strong there. And the Nasdaq retraces back down now. 2%, and I know, sorry, not Adara, Sia looked at the daily chart there of what's happening now, but the dollar, I don't know if we're gonna, I think we have money talks at some point here this afternoon as well, but there it goes, man, the US dollar upside pretty much right now as this market is reacting negatively, so there goes the US dollar. We saw it going upside there earlier today as, whoopsies, don't want to click on that, as we saw it going upside early, what am I doing? Upside earlier today. Then it faded when the Nasdaq didn't get back to green, but wasn't too far away. Then upside, back in, taking out day's high right now. So I think the Nasdaq does have some more room to go back to the downside right there as we look. So you said something interesting there, and then we started talking about High School Musical. It was about what was next, you know, what was sort of the next thing to go. I think right here, and too bad Randy's not here right now because he was loving life when he was talking about XOM before when it was all the way up here. But this has come right back in again as well. Like, so these levels down here at 135, you can collect a dividend. Obviously oil stocks have their pluses and minuses on why you'd want to own them and why you know, especially if you think there's a recession coming, which I don't think so. I mean, earnings have been really strong. You don't really want to hold an oil name if that were to be the case. But right into here, 135, a good hold on ExxonMobil. So collect a dividend, have a little bit of a flight to safety there. Well, and, you know, if it just appreciates back to 155, that's your 15%.
Look at January. The thing we've all forgotten about because of Iran,
yeah,
is that spike that we had over Venezuela.
Yeah, well,
and if you look at Chevron,
right?
and go look at XOM, and that spike, like that the close that day on Chevron CVX was 164. Look where the bottom is. It pulled right, all that Iran pullback goes right into the Venezuela close. Like there's a volume spike, there's your big volume day. This is where it closed. It opened the same price the next day. That's exactly where it bounced. So this is, you got to file those things away. Like Brian will talk about like throw an anchored VWAP. Stocks have memory. Like they tend to close gaps in. It closed the gap to that point. It's like, well, where was it from one conflict to another? And that's exactly where you're catching the bounce. I don't know which one you like, but it was a logical place for things to pull back, and now you can just start resuming the uptrend. Like, so for me, CVX went from a 140 buy to a 165, 170 buy, and I think, will it get back to the Iran highs promptly? No. But that's not why you own it. You own it for some rotation and a divvy, and usually you like buying it when you think things are getting a little bit frothy in tech, and that's one of the things that's supposed to be good about it. Is Nasdaq is, well, I mean, we're down over 2% and we're not even at the low. So it's not turning out to be a very good power hour for the longs. Any longs have all dripped out. Really only in SMR because it didn't actually catch the BMNR short. So BMNR did end up breaking down. Obviously, everything's going down, so it's really not too much of a surprise there, but wasn't able to grab it. SMR is still trying to fall further, but there's some relative strength here at VWAP. Like, we're getting acceleration now to the downside on the Qs. So I'd have liked to see this get a little bit weaker off the long weighted average price. So I don't want this breaking the downtrend. If it gets back above and starts breaking out over 9, then the move is what it is, and you take what you can get, and you do not want to be upset. The other thing to keep in mind, it doesn't mean a heck of a lot. SpaceX, it's in the Nasdaq. Of course, that when it's effective today, really, it's more of like a last week thing, or
yeah, exactly.
You throw that into significance to close the prior session. All of that being said, given the volatility in tech today, and given the fact that it is added, like I'd be looking out for it on the locator here, or just anything in general. Like when this comes out at 350, let's just say it's trying to bounce off 150 again. Like you got to keep that in the back of your mind that you could have kind of a weird volume spike on this kind of a name at 350, and you won't get a heads up about it like you will on New York stocks. Like I can tell you that, just gonna throw one out here, like KO, we got 2 million to the sell side early look, whatever AMPX is, 1 million to the sell side there. Not really a heck of a lot early.
No,
you got SockSell.
SpaceX yesterday had a big buying balance.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did it hold?
Or was it? Well, everything kind of fell in off the end, but I remember, I mean, we were able to short this thing at 160 and had some cover down there. But right now, just to let everybody know, I did buy more right now. I just think the risk, I mean, my average price is 32, I bought 35. So, you know, just light on it, not trying to get too carried away with the trade here, but I just think the risk to reward, we've already sort of planted our flag on where we're going to get out if there's a problem. And, you know, until that problem happens, I think I'm pretty fine with what we're doing right now. So I'm just going to break through 150 there on a quarter of a unit right now, quarter of a unit, not a big one, because of just the way it's been moving, right? I mean, there's been really no buy at all in SpaceX over the last half hour. I mean, maybe right there, which we took advantage of. So that was a good pat on the back. But other than that, right now, we'll just put a little bit more on right here on SpaceX and just wait to see if that 150 winds up holding like it has been. I just have offers. I have offers in the 60s and 70s all the way back up on SPCX. So we'll see if we're able to get something around there. And if not, fine by me. And we'll get stopped out. And with slippage, you know, I would say that it's pretty well traded right now. Like maybe slippage of maybe 15 cents might be the highest. So if it breaks below 149.99, we'll be hands off. And we always get questions about the execution. So my order is already in. So it's a stop order. As soon as I take the trade, I throw out the stop and we just let it fill if it happens. So it's kind of just like a all or none situation. If it breaks through 150, we'll get out. And if it continues to go back to the upside, then we deal with the winner. And that's always a good thing to look at a winner. And thankfully, if you have one, that's a good problem to have. So we'll wait to see what happens here at 150. Needless to say, SpaceX trying to make some moves now, and it looks like it's trying to go the other way. So yeah, not really in love with what SpaceX is doing here, but we got to try it. We don't have to, but I think it's an easy level to look at right now. SpaceX down to the downside at 150. So we're trying the long one more time.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in, like right in front of 150, but I haven't gotten filled yet because I still have a stop from this morning at 149.99. But I'll use that to try to get like 10.
Oh, that's USO you have up?
But USO, I was just about to point this out. If you look at why we're going down, it feels like it's been a minute since we've had this kind of a reaction where you get like all of this strength in oil and then all this weakness coming into the market simultaneously, like we're actually following it again. But one of the first things that came to my mind was, hey, battle is going. So look at the volume. This is what happens. It gets battle, BATL, Battalion Oil. It's a small cap, like super small float, light float, highly shorted. And when oil goes up, like this thing tends to start to get volume and start to pick things up. But the second there's a turn here on USO, look at these. There's no red candles on a 3-minute. The first red candle on USO on a 3-minute, I'm going to want a short battle, which for some reason is free today. Like, usually we have to pay for locates on this because it's not the biggest float in the world, but that's going to be on my radar. Just once there is any weakness, and there has not been yet in USO, this is all trend up here. And remember, this is all that we throw the story up here.
Yeah.
I can do this. Why not? Like, I can hit a button and throw it up. US revokes Iran's license to export oil. So that is obviously not good. You're seeing this reflect in the market going down. You're seeing silver down almost 4%. But obviously, gold not going to be doing very well. We just talked the US dollar. You look at a couple of other things which are going to be suffering a similar fate. So at the lows, the market, metals, at the highs, oil. So once USO, it looks to me like it's just program buying off of this headline. So once the behavior changes to even a small degree, i.e., red candle on the 3-minute, of which there's been none, looking for the reversion trade, but it's got to slow down. It's got to show some kind of a stop. Like I said, even before, I don't know what it was last week, but I don't think it was oil really moving us around like this. It's been a while, and I want to see how much it can actually sustain it, because it feels like we're past the notion where we should be overreacting and freaking out to these spikes in oil. So once these guys settle down, I'm just talking loosely about the algos, I'm going to look for a reversion, but specifically on Battalion Oil. like just pick on the small capper, which fundamentally, I mean, let's be real. Like, look at the stock. This is the daily chart. When it goes up, it pretty much always comes down. So it's a safer bet.
Yeah, I was just reading about it. They're refinancing their credit facility. Because I was like, what's going on with Battle today? Because up 22%, obviously they've now gotten some looks because of what we just saw with the licensing there with Iran and obviously some ships being hit there in the Strait. So, oil companies, and we looked at XOM and CVX and this is just a highly levered name right there. Tiny market cap, like $40 million. Like, this is super small. Very, very volatile. But the thing has got me interested in, I don't see any splits or anything here. Like, BATL did get going hugely
went
back
crazy.
In March. Like, this was up to $30 and now right back down in again. So yeah, man, I mean, Battalion here. I think the bull or the bear case is just the fact that you're hoping for it to, just for oil to go back up and then the squeeze is on. Oh boy, someone said, why are we doing that on SpaceX? Money. I mean, it's easy to sit. I mean, this is why I sit at this desk. But yeah, there it is. Okay. Oh, we have too many offers that we just got. That's why that coded yellow. But here we go, man. And like we said, we took a little bit of a risk. We sat down there. We took the trade. We liked the trade. We talked about the trade. So all the way back to the upside there. That's a good fill at 80s, by the way, for that trade. So we take some more at 34. It's a 50-cent winner to the upside. These are all 1-to-1 right there. So, you're able to get some more out there on SpaceX. And, it's just been a really good stock to trade over the last little while. And it may just come right back in. But that was a nice top take right there off of an almost 150 break. So now I feel like it comes back in a little bit there. We got out of half. So it still might not be a winner. Actually, I'm going to take out another piece here at 56 if I'm able to. Just because this, okay, well, we got it. All right, so I was going to say, I don't like the fact that it just ripped and failed. Okay, now it's coming. We took another piece there at 70. So, all right, so we're turning this idea now into a winning trade all of a sudden again, as you're mentioning USO pulling back a little bit, I guess. But there goes SpaceX, obviously nothing to do with oil, but nice move there, and that's how you trade. I can't honestly describe that even more. Like, we went long at 150.30. Obviously looking down, you could always take a little lower than that. But we took that. We had 30 cents worth of risk. So there's the outs, for 30 cents. And now we just sort of wait to see if we do get another move in SpaceX. But that battle, like we just talked about it, it's going higher.
Yeah, USO right just turned. USO is
this is amazing.
We don't have locates on USO.
Probably not. But there it goes to the upside. There goes, battle right now, 190, 181, 190, 191, 192 right there as it goes up. But hey, man, we'll just hang our hat on this trade. That was a good one. Therefore, I'm going to get another piece right there. We'll cross. That's me crossing down to 62, so you got no love there. But we get out anyways. So there's another out there as it comes back. So just trying to watch out for SpaceX here. We only have a half hour left until those imbalances. But yeah, Battle's an interesting name. I think we want to definitely have a look at this tomorrow in the next few days. Now someone's showing up with a big ARCA buy there. Is this not halt state yet? I guess not. 172, up 17. It's not. No. We don't have the halt bands right now.
I don't think we have the bands on Amex stocks, maybe.
Oh, that's right. It's Amex.
Oh, no, I see it.
I didn't even realize
I see it. It's at
Amex.
219.
219. Okay, so it's reset.
Oh, I don't have it marked as an axe on Amex.
Anyways, yeah, BATL, just lots of volume, 10+ million shares. But yeah, we're just going to hold on to this SpaceX thing and see what happens here into the close. So far, so good on SPCX on what we call a reload. And this is the first time we reloaded this thing since 10:45. So came right back in. So far, so good there. We're out of more than half on this one as it's SpaceX moving around. And what did Palantir just do? Yeah, wow, Palantir down to 135 in VWAP. So we have less than 5% now in this name. Maybe we should just clear it all out. But Palantir definitely on the pullback. Look at this NASDAQ, man. Damn, missed opportunity there shorting that one.
Yeah, well, I think if it's bouncing now, if USO is going to make that turn, there's a topping tail here. Yeah, I know you can look at the leveraged ones to go long, short, and not pay for locates. I get it. Of course you can. But I just like trading, looking at this chart, I like short being short. If it's a liquidity thing, like sometimes I know we were trading it with ZSL, with silver. That was more just the liquidity was so much better. I found on that name, which made it really good. No, but like there's your first red candle up at the top on USO. Just pop to a 15, so I can show you. You're also at like a technical resistance here at the 110. So I want to give it to 110. We'll give it to that up at the highs and see if it can go, and also look at that VWAP. But also, if we're getting a curl back on, look, if we are getting a curl in the market bouncing here, like USO catching a top and the market catching a bottom, can't let this get through the volume weighted average price. So move the stop just underneath VWAP here on SMR, and we're going to give it to like just about 9 or so. Just got to try to respect it here on SMR. If we hold VWAP, then we can get out of this trade, because overall, the move is the move. Like if the trend down happened because oil was going higher, if we're catching a bit of a top in oil, then got to respect that and try to get out of some of the shorts that were working before. We're going to go up to SIA. You know the US dollar has been moving around. So let's do money talks and see where it's going to be headed next.
Yeah, let's take a look at the USD JPY pair here. The yen remaining pinned near 40-year lows despite rising Japanese government bond yields. Also, markets continuing to test BOJ's tolerance for this weak currency. We have the Indian rupee that is also expected to open on supportive Asia cues, but markets are also flagging, however, that the underlying bias has softened after the recent weakness, and the RBI, that is the Reserve Bank of India, that's keeping the RBI in focus for any signs of intervention and or certain guidance here. DXY, the dollar, currently hovering around the 101 mark. It seems to have climbed up a little bit on the day. It was a little bit green. It's become a little bit more of 0.24% on the day. Let's send it to Adara.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know here, oil in focus. We know, of course, there's this big spike up in oil, which began when we had the U.S. basically saying that, you know, and hinting at potentially some retaliation for Iran for some strikes that happened. And because of these strikes that were reportedly happening earlier today, they also said they were going to be suspending that waiver, the temporary waiver they gave to Iran with regards to oil. Now we have response here from Iran. They're saying, also talking here about Qatar, which made accusations earlier today as well against Iran. They're saying, quote, Qatar's accusations against Iran regarding attacks on a vessel linked to the country in the Strait of Hormuz are, quote, perplexing and inconsistent with the principle of good neighborliness. They also said that they're diligently fulfilling their commitments per the MOU in regard to necessary measures to manage the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran maintaining business as usual. Obviously, U.S. and it sounds like Qatar as well don't agree. We're going to continue to have USO in focus. Back to you.
Yeah, so you're going to still get that volatility. The volume, remember, the spot might be closed, but you know, oil futures might close at 230, but that doesn't really slow down what's going on with the equity market. So you're still holding off of that high. I'm bidding in the 75 range. You're like, yeah, why do we like those levels? Here, just going to pop a 15-minute. There's a prior top at 108.5, so I'm bidding out in front of that. And then we have another one here at about 107.5. So that's where I'm looking for the reversion back into off of this high here in USO. So I'm going to put my little thing back. Keep hitting this key where it does like the circle on my pointer, and that's now off.
Yeah, Joe was mentioning that was not working.
Yeah, I don't know why that, it used to work, and all of a sudden it doesn't. I get that back, because I like to be able to indicate, like, why do I like the level? And then I highlight over here, there's resistance to support, resistance theoretically back into some support levels. So that's what we're looking for, target on USO. Got to keep the ear to the ground for sure. And with only about 3 minutes until we get the early look imbalances, worth noting, something was not here before, but it is now. QBTS is now 1.2 million early look buy. I don't think we've said a word about quantum names at all today. I haven't really looked at quantum outside of IBM, to be honest with you.
I saw my guy Dylan over here. I have no idea how you just made $160,000, but
they have options on it?
No. On Battle, I don't think they'd have options. But maybe, I don't know. Did you buy 100,000 shares? Like, that's a monster move right there to the upside. So, yeah, man, Dylan, 4747. What up? That's a big move there as we continue to watch out for the chat. I want to say a big shout out to everybody that's in the chat here today. I mean, we continuously have this being updated here. We have YouTube on here. We want to say what's up to TikTok. We want to say what's up to all of our friends watching us worldwide right now on Twitch, on YouTube, on TikTok, as it just keeps on going, man. That would be absolutely awesome for everybody on TikTok. Give us a shout out, get into that chat. Shout out to Arun Warrior as well, and everybody that has been trading today. It's been a pretty good day, needless to say, but wow, that battle, man, for that Dylan there, $160,000. I'll see you in September, my friend. Go have a wicked summer. All right, it's Adara at the desk. I believe, but I don't want to say Adair if it's going to be Sia, but let's go back to the desk then. Oh, it's 1. Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
1.
there he is.
It is almost 3:30 p.m. We're through Power Hour, and it's time to talk about a story that really moved a lot of the U.S. markets today, and it originated in Asia. Let's get into it, one.
Yeah, definitely. Asian markets not looking so good. Everything in the red overnight. I mean, we saw sharp volatility in AI and chip sectors, and that all stemmed off from one major catalyst, which was that of Samsung's record Q2 results. Markets basically treating it like it's already a done deal. They already priced it in, and it definitely triggered a global chip sell-off. I mean, there's also that Morgan Stanley note warning of fading global chip momentum. So that definitely had something to do with everything that happened over in Asia. South Korea was the worst off. I mean, they plunged by about nearly 5% to the downside. They even had a level 1 circuit breaker intraday, and even 8% down in the middle of the day for Kospi. So yeah, late afternoon dip buy might have helped cushion the final print, but 3 trillion won of foreign capital exiting Korea. We saw Samsung down by more than 7%, SK Hynix more than 6%. Even battery stocks like LG, they were down more than 7%. So definitely something that affected the whole of Asia. But as we head towards the open of the Asian markets, here's something that you guys should look out for in order to maybe take a little bit of dip buying maybe, after that drop from Kospi, heavy retail liquidations likely at the open, whether that's going to be state-backed institutional blocks providing a floor for Kospi, or maybe some forced liquidation making an immediate gap down. So keep an eye out on Korean markets, as well as Taiwan markets. Keep an eye out on early volume in Taipei. Foreign investors right now holding record short futures. So watch if at the opening bell, there's going to be maybe some immediate short squeeze. So if that happens, or maybe fast liquidations across power semiconductor lines. And in India, okay, so test out your support level for India would be around 24,350. So if pre-earnings from IT sectors or maybe banking mega caps can defend that floor, watch out for that. If not, there's going to be a clean break at the open towards 24,250. So definitely not a good day in Asia, but hopefully tomorrow is a better day. But we're looking for a downtrend here.
Should be an interesting day here for the Asian markets. Thanks again to One for covering that for us. You can see him every day at 11:30 a.m. for the Euro markets, and then 3:30 p.m. to talk about the Asian markets. We'll send you back over, though, for now, to Neil and Sean.
That's right, the one and only there. Thank you, One, for that update. Yeah, look, we are just basically the only name I'm in right now is SpaceX. I mean, we're still in Palantir, but it's very, very light. But there's SpaceX again, back up to the 50-period moving average. So we'll take a little bit out there on SpaceX as, I think there's a good opportunity here just to hold this a little bit. My next offer now is at 151.20. So we got some out there at 60. We got another bid out there at 80. And we're getting lighter on the stock. So I only have 20% left. So let's now wait to see, even if this thing falls down, I mean, well worth the risk. I hope some of you tailed that play there on SPCX. I mean, just buying that near 150 was kind of an easier trade. And, that's kind of stuff that we're talking about, making, risk. I mean, no play is risk-free. This one had about 30 cents. And then I said, with a little bit of slippage there too, possibility. So, nervous about that always. When you kind of add that into the equation and just say that's part of trading. So we'll wait to see what happens here as it like a nice little upside move happening on SpaceX into the close as we wait. Now let's look at the imbalances. There's no point in me talking about SpaceX with this because SpaceX is a Nasdaq name. So they won't show up on here until the Nasdaq actually comes out at 350. But Coke, I think PepsiCo has been doing something as of late.
Yeah, it's been
okay. Coke also
it's like a rotation,
trending higher right now. So yeah, just like we like J&J and some of those other names there. We talked about some oil and gas names. Coke and Pepsi there, obviously off some worries there about GLP-1s and whatnot, but they've sort of absorbed all of that. And Pepsi's the opposite of Coke. That's what I was thinking. It's going the other way. Pepsi is downside. This could be worth picking something up now on Pepsi. You might have just missed the very bottom of 138 and change, but still not so bad into that level for 138 on Pepsi. So a good little dividend payer there. And I think you can get some Pepsi and see what happens with that one. But so far so good here as we are now 30 minutes away from close. And USO still pumping higher, man. But I mean, it's still you're in USO, so whatever. But still doing nothing around that 109.50 area.
When does the Pepsi reports, don't they?
Do they report
yeah,
soon?
that's
Maybe,
right. They
yeah.
report this week.
Okay.
Yeah, Pepsi.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah, so Pepsi, you heard it from, I don't know if you guys heard Adara, but Adara just said they report on Thursday. Today's Tuesday, so in a couple of days, Pepsi's going to be reporting. I forgot to mention, I said QBTS, first time we'll talk about the quant names in a while. 1.2 million buy and balance. This is what I was getting at. As the market pulled back in, it's making a bit of a trend break. So this busts VWAP. A lot of times I look for a reversion on an imbalance play, but there's still 15 minutes until the imbalances come out officially. It's just the early look now. I'm going to look for a VWAP breakout on this just to try to play any upward momentum. The market's trying to bounce. It also has the buy and balance going with it here at 1.2. That's pretty significant. It's only done 14 million shares, so it's just a hair under 10% of the day's volume. But unless it's breaking VWAP, meh. Like, I'm not that interested. I want to see it break the volume weighted average price, go for the long, put a stop under the prior bar, and then try to hold it to 350. The idea would be, if it breaks, not to hope that 1.2 million comes out at 2 million, but to kind of play it into 350 and then get out near that high. So that one's going to be on my radar. I'm just going to set a stop for the breakout. That'll be about 21.4 here on QBTS. And if it doesn't get through, then I don't have to worry about taking the trade or not. It's going to have to get through that volume weighted average price to trigger me in. USO is still, there's your reversal candle, broke that prior bar, so jumped in. Still hasn't really taken out the high, hasn't gone to any of the targets yet. We're still very much, we're at about 15 minutes ago. I'm not going to change the targets yet or the structure of the trade, but you start to get close enough to the close and you do have to worry about, hey, you also have a time limit when you're day trading. It's got to get out before 4 o'clock. I want to make sure we get there. But for now, just leaving everything as is. SMR, once it got back to VWAP, we'll get out of it. It broke the trend. It got through. Couldn't really follow through under the volume weighted average price. Able to take out that 9 again. So that short, we're now done. I know it was bearish on SMR, just particularly here. But on the higher time frame for SMR, it did take the 52-week low, not an all-time low, 52-week low, wick bottom, and is a bit of a reversal play today. It's going to close back above the 52-week low. It's down 7%, but technically this is a bit of a reverse play off of it. So it's not necessarily the strongest looking stock in the world, but sometimes you'll see a little continuation after you've held a 52-week low. So it's worth being on the radar tomorrow, and I'm only looking at them because, heck, I've owned them, still have a piece in them. You could look at any of the other names too, I suppose. It just whatever's happens to be your cup of tea. One of the museums in London actually had a small modular reactor is one of the exhibits, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some really cool.
They had the Science Museum.
Remember all the ones.
Science Museum is one of the better ones in London, actually. It's
we had
just interactive
a party at one of the museums. It was a lot of fun there. It's just the wife and I went, so it was a lot of fun. Going to that one there. Look, I'm trying to get out of Uber, by the way. Just let it go up just a little bit more. This battle stock, still 17 million shares. This is going to be a story tomorrow, I feel like, for sure. I mean, just finally getting some action into this and really just picking up since 3 o'clock. And it's just done a whole bunch of shares, and it's an Amex stock. There obviously is going to be trading after 4 o'clock, and then he can't halt or anything like that. So I would just say be careful for battle. I would not want to be short this name into the close. Like, that's 295. We've been up here lately in June, was 220 or so. And, depending on, and I can clearly see with, like an individual like Dylan and everybody else in the chat, what's up to Jacob there talking. There's Dylan as well in the chat and battle. He says he's going to see 140 soon. So yeah, a lot of different talks about what we're going to see here with BATL. But yeah, just be careful. And I'm only saying don't be short because of what we've seen here into the close. You never know. On a day when the Nasdaq is down, and I think the ES is probably better, only 0.61, I would expect Walmart to be up. I don't know if it's up or down. It's up nicely a little bit anyway. That is positive, right? Yeah, positive 0.75. So nice little move there as Joe gets excited for Walmart. And why not, right? It's up today, so that's going to be a good play there for WMT. And we'll wait to see if it can get going even more on Walmart now, as good little talk yesterday on Walmart, as maybe that, or 2 days ago, off some of those lows there. And yeah, now we'll see if it can battle itself back upside. And as we say, the switch is now on potentially in some of these names into a little bit more of a consumer-friendly name like a Walmart or a Costco, where the value is back in the stock because they were really maybe not overly priced, but as far as PE is concerned.
They're still expensive, but it's always been expensive.
What's this question on SpaceX? Yeah, I mean, I think that's 100% right, West Palm Beach. I mean, that's exactly the trade that I have on right now. And you and I are thinking alike, man. I mean, I just got out there, but I didn't put on a big position like you're saying you have. I only had a quarter of a unit, but still ran that to the upside, made a little bit of profit there to end the day. So, yeah, we're happy. And I would 100% agree with you on a 150 break. We've been sitting here. I've been sitting with that trade on. I don't know, your name went by too fast, but I've been sitting with that exact stop since 11 o'clock, 10:45. So yeah, like I am with you on that there for SpaceX. So let's just wait to see. We are now 10 minutes away from another updated tick on the imbalance locator. So that could be in your favor if you are a long for SpaceX, or if it's not, hopefully, if it's not, that slippage will be a little bit more. Like if it's a couple million shares to the downside, you'll probably get more than a 15-cent print. But, hoping now that if you're still in the name, there's 10 minutes left until imbalances. So I don't know what price you're in at, but I would lighten up a little bit if you can. Not just, yes, because I've been doing it. So that's what I think. But at the end of the day, it's fighting this 50-period moving average and not winning. It's come up. Like those have been targets out for me. So hopefully, it goes in our favor and we rip upside. But if it doesn't, just be careful. It's definitely doesn't look like the trend is our friend here. So I only have less than a quarter of my unit left. So we're almost out of this trade. And I wish everybody the best here for SpaceX near the end of the day.
And tomorrow we could be talking about SpaceX making a fresh,
Yep.
It's not really.
What is the low on SpaceX?
It's not really all-time lows. I think it is all-time lows, but.
No, 146.
Because 135 matters,
we will get
and
146
that's an issue.
tomorrow. Actually, I think this will open up under 150 tomorrow, especially if we break it right now.
Yeah, but it's 146.80, I think, or something like that.
The crazy thing is, this morning, right? Adair gave us all this news, upgraded here and there, and this and that, and it just doesn't seem to want to go. SpaceX. So they had that $800 price target. I thought I liked it because Goldman Sachs stepped in.
I still want that flap on.
So we'll wait, man. We'll wait. I've bought no more shares of SpaceX. So I'm waiting to see what winds up happening here. Felt a little bad when we missed the 150 the first time, but that's right back in, and I feel no kind of ways. I'm going to wait for lower.
135.
Yeah, 135.
Well, because between 150, the only thing you've got left at that point is the actual IPO issue price, right? So my expectation is, you get that flat bottom break, and then that day start thinking about 135. And I just sort of mean this flat bottom break. Sorry about the wick. The low on the first day was like 149. I don't remember. So it opened at 150, briefly broke the low. I don't think it got that far. I want to say maybe 50 cents or so, something like that. But once it breaks that low, 135 is going to be the level, because that's where I expect them to defend. I fully expect there to be dip buyers all plastered all over the bid at $135 on SpaceX. Like in my head, I'm picturing like millions of shares and reloads and all that good stuff at 135. They don't want the embarrassment of people that just invested in this from the beginning being red a month in. Like, that's not a good look at all. So that's why you'll see Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, hop on that bid and try to defend it. And we could see that this week. I fully expect we can see that this week. 7 minutes to go till the imbalances come in. USO starting to roll over, but now you're getting that time constraint where you're running out of time. You just try to break 109, got under, came back through, so hops them out on the way back through the 09, and just going to look for, I think, the 08 half at this point. Maybe back that one up to the 08 half. If that's all it wants to do going into the imbalances, I want to be kind of looking for something that's a 350 imbalance play. If it ends up being QBTS, fantastic, or maybe something else pops up. Not seeing anything on the Amex. I mean, Soxel's there, but it's only 800,000 to buy, which is, that's effectively nothing on Soxel. I think you need to see bigger numbers than that. I wasn't here yesterday to be able to see what happened at the close for some of those Amex names, if it was even Amex. But you gotta think, first thing in your mind, if it is an ETF that's moving big at the close, it's probably going to be a chip-related one. Like, that would be my first guess. But that's way too small at 800,000. That's a few million shares. You got something there. The next time we actually see stock sell with an imbalance of a few mil, then it's time to go for it. This doesn't look like it yet. You never really know, though. I should never say never. But.
I wanted to actually, I don't have the poll thing up. I had it yesterday. And I was going to say, like, what are people's current positions? Like, are people long 150 on SpaceX? Have they bought higher? Like I told you, the only time I bought it was 170. So I'm still there. So even if I do get a 140 print, average price will still be a little bit above 150 right now. So I don't really know how to properly word that, but like maybe are you buying 150?
Where are you on SpaceX?
Because did you buy 150s?
I bought my thing, but not exactly at 150.
Yeah, whatever it was.
And it was in the CDR, so it's
that's right.
Math.
We're trying to figure out the math. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's somewhere between. It's in the 155 range or something like that. Because like the CDR is not like an even number. It's around multiply it by 6 or something. So
so I'm trying to think about like what the right way to word it, but it's like.
Okay, I'm just gonna go for long here in front of.
Yeah, or wait, something like that. Yeah.
Long here. Waiting lower, or how about
stuck higher?
Not interested.
Or I don't know.
And we'll go with.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, long here answers all the questions, right? We can go over to Neil's screen. We will have the poll.
Well, I was gonna say stuck at the top.
Yeah, but.
We'll leave that alone. We'll leave it.
If you're long now, you're long.
Yeah, 3 things. You're long here already in SpaceX in front of 150. Yeah. That's one. Or you're waiting for lower, meaning you're interested in buying SpaceX, and you're going to wait for lower.
Right, good one.
Or 3, you're not interested at all. So right now in the chat, those are your 3 options. You type 1 if you're already long in front of 150 in SpaceX. You type 2 if you're waiting for it to get lower, maybe that 135 IPO issue. You type the 3 if you're absolutely not interested in SpaceX whatsoever, and you're like, forget about that nonsense. I don't want to touch it. I think I feel like waiting for lower is kind of chalk here. For a lot of people, it's right now sitting at 44%.
I mean, I'm surprised. I thought the not interested. I think the not interested will probably take over number 1 at some point. Look, I'm glad we came up with that.
Usually you're ready. Usually you're interested at some point. Waiting for lower kind of covers that though, right?
Yeah, no, I just say some people just aren't interested, right? So I think like right there, it's like they're not. They're thinking lower, but the 135 is probably not good enough. And, we want to wait to see what winds up happening. But looks like it'll be almost a third. So some are already long. Most are waiting. I mean, it's kind of a mix. It looks like,
that's a pretty even.
At least it looks like right now about 70%. So I think we picked a good poll here. 70% of you are very interested in the stock with 30% not interested. So I think we're always trading the names that I hope you guys are interested in, and it looks like SpaceX is one of those. Just to say what cash register, I guess, took out some there. I just took out a little bit more there at 50. We're now 3 minutes away between, what's going to happen and potentially break lower. So it just came right back up into again. And I know it's only 20 cents, but came right back, well, a little bit more than that. Yeah, about 20 cents now because we're at 134, but took it out in the 50 period. So here we go.
Whoa.
We're now 3 minutes away from this.
Some big imbalances just popped up. RWT, which I know is a delete today. That's 5.2 million to the sell side. I know because I looked at it before. I don't have that page up. RWT is supposed to be S&P 600 deletion, 17 million shares expected. Right now it's 5.9. Virgin Galactic, not SpaceX. SPCE.
Oh man, I'm buying the wrong one.
Virgin Galactic is an early look buy of 3.5 million shares. Oh, that feels like a reversion if it comes out to the upside. There's no index action on. Well, I'm like 99% sure. I haven't looked. I don't think I see anything on Virgin Galactic. There absolutely is not. So Virgin Galactic pops to near the top of the list. But this is expected. RWT is expected to be a sell. This one's out of nowhere. So if this actually holds up as 3.5 million to buy, that's almost perfect for a 355 reversion. Because why would it be up in the first place? Virgin Galactic, you don't have news. You don't have a reason to ever be up, if we're being honest about it, which we can be. I think I'm being honest about that. Virgin Galactic stinks. And it has for a while. So 270, if it pops up on the imbalance, I'll look for a 355 reversion on SpaceX. QBTS ends up doing nothing going into the imbalances. It doesn't break out. It ends up not even holding that 1.2 million buy imbalance in the first place. So it's just these two, RWT and Virgin Galactic. USO, it did that one little jaunt down. It's still holding trend lower highs. But at this point, it's now 349, so break-even stop is going to be in for this one. As far as it gets, that's fine, but I'm going to go with the break-even stop now that we are getting long in the tooth and almost at the end of the day here. But USO, the program buying stopped. It pulled back, but not that much. Like the program buy took it $3 to the upside. The pullback's about 70 to 80 cents. So it's really holding a lot of these gains pretty well.
All right, we are 1 minute away, and we will be able to show you what's going to happen with said imbalances. And I think that was a good look there. SpaceX doing its own thing here. Palantir, just whatever, man. I'm just going to put an offer out for Palantir just in case it does make some sort of a move. And we can watch out for SpaceX, as obviously we have that study out where people are worried about their SpaceX trades. So we'll get that in a couple seconds here, 40 seconds away until these all update. It's been a very, very good day and a very good month for PanW and CrowdStrike and all that. I mean, now, of course, as soon as I say that, it's downside for PanW down 5%. Might be a good buy opportunity there. It's useless for us to look at the CrowdStrike chart, but we can definitely look to see what it's been doing here today, CRWD, as it's looking like it wants to take a little bit of the high road again, but down 2.3%. And yeah, oh no, our chart, yeah, that's okay. It was at 800 before it split. So still just now basically at split adjusted pricing. So, okay, here comes SpaceX. Let's give it a shot and see what winds up happening right now. Now 10 seconds away from SPCX, and we'll wait to see what happens now for that stock. And you'll see it instantly win the stock reaction in this. So now it's out. Looks like it might be nothing. The stock not really doing anything right now. So Amazon's a buy, Google's a buy. There's some shoots up right there. NVIDIA's a little bit of a buy, but these are all pretty weak. There's not a whole bunch of stuff, not a bunch of action at all. And even SpaceX, no, lack of action now on SPCX. So we'll just hold it into the close and see what winds up happening. If it takes down 150.
Does it even have an imbalance?
It takes down 150. It might not have.
Oh, I see. It's 150K.
Yeah, the minute it wasn't moving, it was a couple million shares yesterday. So the minute
that's tiny.
It wasn't moving, we knew that there was something up with that. And yeah, not much going on right here with SPCX. So
Mag 7 overall, 700 million buy. That's not terribly large for those imbalances. Virgin Galactic comes out smaller than expected. RWT might be 5 million to sell, but that's much lower than the expected number for the index action. It was supposed to be like 17 million, I said, or probably up there. Yeah, it's 17 million, so it's expected to be a lot bigger. That came out much smaller than expected and already starting to pair off. Let's go to Adara.
No worries about that. Let's go to SIA and talk about some crypto. Let's look at BTC, currently trading around the 63,800 region at the moment. So Vanguard is hiring its first head of digital assets to build a multi-year crypto roadmap for personal wealth clients. Now, Vanguard, which is roughly a $12 trillion asset manager, still has no plans to launch its own Bitcoin ETF. And now this role appeared on Vanguard's career page on July 6th. And it lists hybrid seats in Malvern, Dallas, Scottsdale, as well as Charlotte. So this marks a sharp break from Vanguard's earlier stance when the firm had blocked the spot Bitcoin ETFs from its brokerage platforms when they launched in January 2024. So with that, Bitcoin is down 0.33% on the day. ETH currently down 0.56% on the day, trading around the $1,700 region, whereas Solana is also down 0.73% on the day, trading around the $81 region.
Okay, yeah, 63.8, 64,000 seems to be a top there for Bitcoin. We saw Ethereum the other day making some moves a little bit different than what Bitcoin was doing. Yeah, Ethereum nicely off the bottom, much better. 1160 up to 1360, so a nice little 15 or so percent move higher right there on Ethereum as we go. So
well, Michael Saylor is selling more.
Well, that's a problem.
Maybe no one else is selling an ETH.
IBIT up today though when Ethereum is not. So yeah, so some maybe it's a similar kind of a move higher there on ETH. But yeah, again, I kind of I like the stock, but I don't love it. I mean, it's Bitcoin, but so I like it down here, but we'll see what winds up happening. I'd still want to play the long game on that. That is for sure. So it looks like
next year is
USO
better
is going well to the downside there. Finally,
the cycle for Bitcoin, I think next year.
Yeah,
back at this year, next year, then you start thinking about the longs again. The halving cycle really tells you, maybe even a skosh longer than that. Skosh. Oh goodness, that's one of those.
It's an English word, I think.
It is, but no, it's like the different amounts of you put like a skosh of milk in or some whatever. Like that kind of, it's one of those types of words. Like it's a very small amount. So USO's finally starting to pull back in. It didn't have an imbalance on it. So, well, I mean, you don't really expect it to, but none of the energy names have imbalances on them. Here it's really just Virgin Galactic and RWT for no reason, but we are with only 5 minutes to go. I've moved the trail into 109 and just going to see if we can get to that 108 half, which when you look at it on a 15-minute chart, believe me, it's a level at 108 half. I'm not just sort of making it up. Go back. There's the 108 half. You just go back 3 or 4 days, and it was resistance. It's even a close level back here on the 20. It'd be like the 25th. Yeah, the 25th there, and then a high here on the 30th. So that's the level I'm looking for it to pull back into. But once it gets back above 109, we'll jump out of that trade for sure. What was interesting about, like, you were talking about Pepsi and the fact that they're reporting this week and that it's been doing poorly relative to Coke. Even today, like, it's not the best day in the world. Up 1%, but selling off quite a bit. This is a really interesting name. I haven't done this, like, whatever. I know I still have Pepsi shares in my account, 100%, because we had another friend that worked at Pepsi back in the day, and I remember buying some shares way, way back when he did. This is also a solid company to have, but I don't really have many. But the 50 period is about to potentially break. I'd rather be looking at it after earnings than before. But if it's holding the 50 period 3-day rule after earnings, that's a solid rotation type of play just to try to run it higher. I know it's got a death cross on it, but I don't really care too much about things like
SpaceX is bleeding to all high heavens.
What happened? It broke.
Yeah, it was going the other way. I shouldn't say bleeding. It's bleeding, yeah, but not to the high
bleeding to
heavens,
the heavens,
into the depths of hell. Right now, 149, and there's the break, right? So we talked about that as being a potential, and it looks like that is exactly what's going down right now. There's 149. We keep on. There's something wrong with Nasdaq. I don't think it's our book or not. Like, it's flashing that 150. It's not 150. These are the right prices: 148.90, 149, and there it goes down $1. So yeah, obviously we get stopped out, but no skin there. We don't have to worry about it. Because
just one thing about that quote, though, that's the Nasdaq book quote for market depth. So if you were to put up the NSDQ. Like, that one's usually good. Like, that's good. It's the Nasdaq. It's the book quote.
Yeah, it's just the book feed. Yeah, so there's a problem, definitely a problem with Nasdaq there or something.
It's so much volume.
But now it looks like it got cleared out finally. But that was huge, man. There was like 50,000 shares just sitting there, whatever there was. 5 million shares, my bad. Just sitting there taking in some orders. But
anyone changing their votes? Anybody changing their vote on the poll here for SpaceX?
Probably. Too bad you can't change it. But
no, you can't change it because 37% of you are long here already in front of SpaceX, 32% waiting for lower, which you're getting, and still 30%. It's still thirds.
Yeah.
Not interested at all. I always feel like there's a price. It's too big of a company to not like it at any price, right?
This will be one. I mean, this will probably. I think this will be 135 tomorrow. I really do think that you may. I mean, it's one downgrade away. It's one negative piece away.
I'm saying Thursday.
From this. Yeah.
It feels like 2 days worth of work.
2 days.
It's down 7% already today.
Well, I mean, the high is 162, so it's already down $13 today.
That's a lot.
If we go down $13 tomorrow, you're at that price, and we'll see what happens there tomorrow. And I'm glad that I haven't been buying anything else or any more of SpaceX. Here right now, we have a very small position literally at 170. So now it's down to 150.
Oh, I can do the math now.
Not really the end of the world.
10% from 150 is the 135. So I can look at the not stupid.
Yeah, literally
stupid about it.
It's pretty.
No, so I can look at the Toronto one. It looks like it lined up perfectly. The 150 break was $25. I think you can it's like 25.10. So really, it's like 10% down from there. It'd be like 23.60. Actually, now I do know what I'm bidding. I know I would have put 23.69 because I'm an idiot like that. No, so when the CDR gets down to that, that's what's going to be the next level to look at. That 10% down from here on SpaceX. But you know what? This is not an all-time low. You can go crazy, but this is not some kind of crazy all-time low. It did break 150 before, and it held at 147-ish in the pre-market. So there's still, in theory, a bid down here. Like, if it retakes 150, this is just another false break. And that could happen. I mean, well, there's only 2 minutes left to go, so I guess maybe not happening.
I wish there was more time. I want to play the short. Like, now that it broke that major level, I want to play the short. I really think this can get to 147 or so in like a half hour. The buyers will stop in the aftermarket.
It's going to be a good Blue Ocean session. The Blue Ocean numbers will be predicated on what this does on Blue Ocean tonight, in my opinion. Because what else is it going to be? You make maybe Micron, but It's got to be SpaceX.
Was that Adara for something, or that was a false break?
No, I was
for
just
Adara?
gonna say no. Yeah, I actually did take the short here on SPCX. So
Yeah, okay, so good call there. I mean, that breaking through 150, it really hasn't given you much yet. There's only a minute left, but yeah, that's a good one. I like that trade. I think a short of 150 is a great trade. And, you know, normally, yeah, perfect, man. 151 proof there, good trade, Adara. But that's the whole point of, like, you know, we got out. Like, we wanted to take it. We got out when it broke. It was definitely worth it. But now we'll have to wait, as fighting the trend is never great in the afternoon. And I feel like we do a good job talking about that. And, yeah, it doesn't look like that would be a well-traded name in the after hours. So just be careful if you are stuck at all. SpaceX, you can get out now. You don't have to worry about that little liquidity vacuum that could happen at 4 p.m. proper.
Oh, and it's pointed out by some people in the chat, and shout out to them. You, of course, can play in SSPC if you can't short SpaceX. You can go long in this. This is levered, though. This is a 2x leveraged SSPC, but it'll
Maybe was there an imbalance that showed up? There was.
If it was very briefly.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say if there was some big seller still on this level, maybe. But
300K.
Right now, yeah, 300K.
I have it here. It's like 280,000. As we have the closing bell brought to you by VinFast. Life comes at you quickly, and so does the closing bell. Shout out to VFS. The market is now, well, casino close, as we like to call it sometimes. And the official close on SpaceX, didn't see the actual print, we'll call it 149.5-ish.
Yeah, I would say 149.5 is probably about right. I
So
mean,
definitely under the 150, but
find
not
wherever the big
all-time lows yet. That is tomorrow, and then the IPO issue. Now, we're expecting, it's not a guarantee. The expectation is that Morgan and Goldman and JP, the underwriters, a lot of times will be on that bid, not want to have pie in their face. So that 135 could be the next level in. We'll see.
Yeah, I will be definitely on this tomorrow. I mean, we have to pay for shorts, but it's very, very small amounts for sure. All right, it's 4 o'clock. Too bad for Egypt today. We say a big shout out to Sharif there.
Great run for them, though. I mean,
yeah, glad got some emotion from the guy, and it just required soccer. So now we know what turns him on and off. So shout out to Sharif there and Egypt. What a great tournament they had, but out 3-2 today to Argentina, and then tonight is Colombia, Switzerland. So the last match in England, in Vancouver, and that should be a lot of fun. And then we wait for the next round, which should be just as crazy. And then it's July 19th, right, is the final. So that's just a week and a half, 2 weeks away, I guess, at this point, and that should be a lot of fun. I guess it's probably a Saturday, I guess. What is Sunday? Okay.
Sunday,
July the 19th.
it's also the 2-year anniversary of the CrowdStrike outage.
Yeah, more importantly, of course.
way more importantly.
On that one.
Man, the thing about those,
I've been holding CrowdStrike for 2 years. That's more important. Yeah.
that honestly, when those types of events on stocks, those are gifts. Especially if it's something that you'd be like, I never was able to get into this stock. Like, I only ever own Palo Alto. And then that lets you in. This guy's like, get out of here.
Definitely like, no, he's celebrating CrowdStrike.
Oh.
That is.
And that's a recent one as well, recent buy as well.
Yeah, recent buy off the January. We'll talk about our January buys, and we have to either close.
I bought
those.
I bought it again after that.
Yeah.
Well,
We can go over that. I can show you. No, I don't know if we were going to. Well, that's the thing. It's now more than half the year is over, so we can either redo another one in July or just whatever, keep running on those picks. But okay, we'll talk about that later. It's 4:02. Great to have Neil back. Thanks to Sia today, Adara, Joe, Sharif, everybody. Brendan, last person I see this morning, and the first person I see go, Brendan. He gone right now. So shout out to Brendan. He might be in the back. I have no idea where he is. So
Randy's gone though.
Oh yeah, Randy was gone a long time ago. No more supervision necessary. Tiffany. Tammy's one of my coaches. Tiffany, thank you so much. Andre, Fabian over there, one and only is there as well. We want to thank him for the Asian updates. But yeah, that's it, man. And there goes SpaceX. It's going to break 149. I'm pretty sure of that one. I'd say tomorrow's open around 145-ish. And then we wait for that 130, 135.
I think that break happens overnight. I think the blue ocean, it tests it and then comes back above. It would be my guess. But so like maybe a test of 146 in blue ocean, and then we're right here, like 48, 49 maybe. But we'll see. That's the fun part about it. Until it breaks 146, it hasn't made an all-time low. We'll find out tomorrow. So make sure you rest up. Should be more volatility. Yikes for the market. Not a very good one. It was down 1.8% over the Nasdaq.
See you, muchachos.
We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Peace. Muchachos.